everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome. I'm your host, No Regret.
Everybody,
How you guys
No
doing?
Regret here.
Welcome to the vlog.
Yeah. Hi, hello. It is time for another in-depth. This week we are doing a TVZ.
We are. Yeah, last week we did.
You haven't
TVZ.
seen it, right?
No.
And you don't know the results, right?
You told me the results.
Okay, so you know that it's 5 games and Cure wins.
Yes.
But you don't know any of the games, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
You told me the game links too, so I have a hypothesis that Zerg probably loses on the 2 short games. But at the same time, I think Zerg could win on the short games.
Yeah, it's
so
possible.
I'm in a bit of a dilemma here.
Yeah.
I've thought about it quite a bit. What do you think's more likely, the Zerg winning or losing on the short games?
I think short games generally it's Zerg losing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Makes more sense because Zerg rushes suck.
Yeah.
So the Terran would really have to be a bimbo to die early on.
That's true, but would you pick this series if 2 of those games were just Hellbats or something, and the games are over?
That is a good point.
See
That's
that?
actually what I was looking for.
See that?
So we were trying to decide what games to do because I was an idiot and didn't get the Challenger reps. So maybe we'll do that next week. But basically, I was like, what about this Cure Solar, right? Like, Cure is one of my favorite Terrans personally, and Solar has been on a tear lately. So I was like, oh, that might be good. And you were like, okay, what do the games look like on your long commute over here? So I sat through the games, and I was actually checking to make sure they weren't Hellbat games because there's nothing more boring, I think, in all of StarCraft 2 than watching a Zerg fail to hold a Hell battle in.
It's so anticlimactic.
It's just like they come, right, and the Hellions turn into Hellbats, and then you watch, and then the Zerg just barely dies to it, and you're like, that is the worst game that you can get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no Hell Battle.
That's good.
No one
so
dies to a Hell Battle.
Yeah.
They're definitely better than that. There's one game that's not very good, but that's okay. In a best of 5, you're going to get one that's not super good.
Right. Yeah. Maynard's in the chat. You know that guy?
Never heard of him.
I heard he's a big fan.
Jake Kodas, Umpleby, I love it. What's up, buddy?
That's my
VDEC.
middle name.
What's up?
Rabbit casting.
He was at a Tasteless Party the other night.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I did not.
He was the guy I was standing with.
You were standing with a lot of guys, man.
That's true.
I was so dead at that party. I was so dead. I slept for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I need to go to the doctor about my sleeping. Like, I checked my week average, and my week average is like 6, and I'm like, okay, that's a little low, you know?
Wait, 6 hours a night of sleep?
For the whole week average.
No. What?
Yeah.
Like
1 week I had a 4.5 hour average.
Okay, so like, you don't mean 6 hours for an entire week because you.
No. Average every night.
Okay.
6
Yeah,
hours
that's
every
really
night.
low, man. You got to do better than that.
Yeah. I would literally be dead if I only had 6 hours for the whole week.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was worried about.
It's not that bad. I would definitely go to the doctor for that. All right, so TSG Solar. I heard Solar's at 6.9 MMR, which is really high.
I would not be surprised with how he's been playing.
Okay.
Like, he killed it in Aces Rog, right? He's been popping up in all the Olimoleagues and everything, doing real well.
If this is true, though, that is his highest he's ever been, I believe, 6.9. I don't think he's ever been 7K, and I think that's the highest for Zerg MMR right now, besides perhaps Dark.
Yeah.
So that would be really impressive. I hope to see Solar do well. I think Solar's one of those Koreans that if he does well, it's good for us because his English is really good. He has a great personality.
Well, he was supposed to be one of the 4 big Korean Zergs, and then he fell off for so long. But he's actually in the round of 16, right?
For GSL?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So we're actually kind of lucky on that because he was not doing that well at that point. Yeah, watch this.
That's really bad.
Yeah, Insta-Scout.
It's actually surprising how little Terrans care about. Like, wait, is this just? No, never mind. Okay, I was gonna say, why is this SCV so late?
What do you think about that?
What?
A little bit of a tricky guy right here.
Is he gonna get scouted again? If he gets scouted again, he's gonna look like an idiot. But if he doesn't get scouted again, then this is really smart. This is just—it's not even smart. It's just memes, you know. It's gonna get scouted again.
It's so funny to like cancel and move it to another location.
And
do you think that this changed to Reaper during the movement of the barracks, or was this always going to be Reaper?
I think it was always Reaper because I think the second SCD was way too late.
Yeah, it seemed that way, right? But now the barracks are perfectly timed.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, This would be a good 2x Marine timing, but we gotta guess. I actually don't mind it, especially like Solar has to respect it, even if he isn't really scared. Also, Reaper is a lot more like there's a lot more respect needed, I think, than 2x Marine. Like if it was a 2x Marine now, it would be the latest fucking 2x Marine. There's no SCVs, there's no bunker. Like it's just not scary.
Yeah, no, it would
right?
be complete garbo.
But Reapers, it's really scary because even if you get like 3 or 4 drones and then leave with your Reapers, like the Reapers have utility for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to take a third until link speed finishes.
Yeah.
You know, any drones that are taking the third will just be killed. This SCV
Well,
can actually just
I'm
sit
excited
here too.
for you to see what he does here. Yeah.
Oh, this can be really annoying.
Yeah. By the way, Solar Risky's in the chat said that he actually hit 7K.
7K?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That was an account.
That's definitely his highest. I don't think he's ever been 7K before.
Probably not that many people.
Yeah, 7K is really high. 7K would put him at the highest Zerg MMR, I believe, in StarCraft. Well, in Korean server right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Dark was 6'9".
Well, that would put Elaser at 7K.
Oh, really?
Right?
The account we thought was Dark was Solar? The account was like 90% win rate, too.
Damn.
That makes this win even more impressive for Kier, then.
Dude, Kier has been really good for a long time.
Yes.
Like, on the brink of a breakout. And I feel like this is what happens every time I cast Kier, okay? Every time I cast Kier, I'm singing his praises about all these great moves he's making, and then he, like, just barely loses to a Protoss, and everyone's like, yeah, that's always the way, is that you talk about, like, how good the Terran is, and one small difference would make the win, but they always lose. And it's like, yeah, that's actually kind of what Terran is.
Actually, this is the same shit everyone gives me shit for when I commentate, too. Like, stop being so biased towards the Terran or whatever. I'm like, I'm biased against all the losers, okay? I want them all to win. But yeah, you're right. Kier's actually reminds me so much of Soul in the sense that we know he's good. We know he has good results. We know he beats good players.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is his tournaments? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And Kier is like identical, where Kier will be like top ladder, top practice partner. Everybody
for a
knows
long time, too.
Everybody loses to him.
Yeah.
He's just so good. And then he just falls out of the tournament to Hurricane and IEM Katowice. I remember he lied there. Like, there's just so many unexpected results where you're just like, why? Like, this is not Kier. Also, how is this so good?
Yeah, why is this so good?
Yeah, let's actually dive into this. So I think the first thing, actually, let's really dive into this. The first thing that's really interesting is because the Rax was scouted so early, Solar went hatch first without a pool, right? Didn't go pool first. Queens are going to be really late. And secondly, this map looks really good for this because the Reapers can sit here, build a bunker up here. The one thing is, I think Solar respects this a little too much, right? Like, his queens are in range here, he takes a lot of damage. And who the fuck cares if there's a bunker here? Like, what is that going to do long run?
Well, I mean, I guess it just gives your Reapers a place because normally what you'll do is put the damage on the Reapers, force them out of the base, and then when they jump up, well, they can't jump up because you can kill them. So it's the bunker is almost just a place for them to sit and heal.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. But I mean, like, are you scared of him just massing Reapers? Is that the big fear? Like,
well, it's 2 racks. Like, I mean, he can make a lot, but
yeah,
it feels like it's not something that can break you realistically, but
and
something
why is it so good? Because it's so delayed too. Like why? Imagine if it wasn't scouted. Imagine if both racks were here finished and there's already a Reaper out.
Let's see exactly how good it is, how much he forces and everything.
I mean,
because I think it's really neat. I like it for the map. It's certainly better than that Garbo Cannon Rush we saw here.
Okay. So, yeah. This SCV should have been getting attacked, I think, already, too.
Oh, the drone's coming.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Well, Solar was agreeing with me, but yeah, at this point, I really feel like he can't do much. The queens are so late. You can just pull all your drones here, maybe, but you're going to lose, like, if you lose a couple drones, he's already happy. You can just cancel the bunker.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, this is just really, really good. Like, it's so good even now, like, if nothing happened. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely putting on the pressure. Lots of lings are being forced out.
Oh, this is huge. Like, he has to rebuild every ling he's losing here. Because, like, as the Reaper count grows, you need these lings. That was a nice push. Saving the SCV here is huge.
Yeah, I love the SCV into the bunker. It's amazing. And then he micros it right back to the furthest point. Really cool.
If he, like, this is so good for 3
Look
Reapers.
at that, he's going to get the creep tumor too.
Yeah, this is, like, almost game-ending damage, in my opinion. One thing is there is no factory. If the factory was on the way, I would say 100% this is game-ending damage.
Well, it should start very shortly here, at least.
Yeah, like these queens are so low HP. How many links we got? We're speed. Speed's halfway. Like, what are you going to do? How do you stop this?
Well, I think you kind of do what he's doing is microing the queens back and forth, sacking a ling if you need to.
Yeah,
Looks like he almost has transfusion energy, so.
Look at the units.
Yeah.
This just feels really bad. And for it to be scouted so early, like this should not. He's actually going to lose queens here, I think.
Ooh. Back grenade.
If Kier does this well, like this queen. The
Getting
problem
very
is this
low.
is the one with the energy too. He does
Yeah.
have one transfuse. He's doing a really good job of keeping that really injured queen back. Because this queen could get picked off. Now he's got a critical mass of queens. He's got to be careful. That queen should have been focused. Why is it so far forward?
Look at that. He doesn't lose
That
any Reapers.
Control was insane.
Crazy. They are so low. 2 units lost, one of which is in
Bunker.
an SCV.
And a bunker. 187.
Does that count as a unit on the units lost tab, though?
I don't know. I don't think so, I guess.
He never brought up the second SCV,
Wait,
right?
how could 2 units?
He must have lost a Reaper.
187?
That's a cancel.
Yeah, so it does, right? A salvage?
It's a cancel on the first barracks is one of the resources, and then a Reaper just died, an SCV died, and he lost a bunker.
So the bunker does count then.
Well, it says units, so I don't. I think he must have lost something else.
Well,
maybe he had a second
if they count
SCV
the
somewhere.
cancel, that's already a unit already, right?
Oh,
Like the
yeah, that's
barracks
true.
cancel.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
so
guess
weird.
it does. Yeah, I just didn't realize that was under units lost.
It's so weird.
But yeah, because it's at 87, you can't get that from units.
Yeah.
There's no way to
Yeah,
get that
it's
with
true.
just units, so that would be. Look at us learning new things. Now watch this. I love tactical plays like this.
This is great. Gives you
That
vision.
is so cool.
This gives you vision of the high ground.
It blocks stuff.
Yeah,
like, you
this
don't
is
need that
perfect.
over in your base.
This is
Not
perfect.
at all.
This is just great play. He's
I
being
love
so
it.
so efficient.
Right?
Look
He's like MacGyver.
Look at the units lost tab. You know what I love about this in general? It's so interesting to think about strategies and why they fade away, and then all of a sudden they come back. You know what I mean? Because this happens so many times. It happened. Immortal Sentry did this. Battle Cruisers did this kind of like really short period. Reapers did this. Turax kind of does it all the time where it's like, oh, this is shit. Nope, nope, now it's really good again. You know what I mean? It's so interesting to look at Reapers and be so well utilized. It almost looks like the same as before. So why did they fade away, you know? It's almost like all the Zergs are just like, okay, we know how to deal with this. 3-Rax Reaper's so easy to deal with, right? And then everyone's like, oh, the Zergs figured it out. All right, then everyone starts their watches. All right, guys, we'll be back in 6 months when all the Zergs forget.
Yeah. Well, if first off you fall out of practice blocking it, plus the builds rotate away because any build that's really strong will naturally make builds that it's strong against lower in frequency, and then you'll get builds that are strong against. So you're doing builds that are strong against 3-Rax Reaper, let's say.
Do you think?
And then as 3-Rax Reaper fades, you can slowly but surely go back into builds that it's good against, right? And then when you start to hit that peak, you should see the re-rise of the older strat.
That's crazy interesting because I think if we were really smart, we could predict which builds would come back.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that is doable. Like that's what pro gamers are doing. It's not like they're just alpha star robots that are just grinding everything and figuring out what's good. I mean, people are looking at it and being like, wow, everyone's playing so greedy. Maybe it's time to rush a bit more. Or, wow, everyone's being so rushy. Maybe it's time to play just 2 base or something.
The funny thing is it's always one person, right? One person's like, you know what? I'm going to try Reapers again. And then everyone's like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Then they all go back, right?
Okay.
It's
I
very
see
rare, like,
what you're saying.
It's very rare. Like, let's say Special starts going Reapers and Uthermal goes Reapers at the same time.
Yeah.
It's more like Uthermal's doing Reapers. Why? And then Special's like, I'm going to try it. And then it's Special's like, oh, it's pretty good now. Right? And then it just like ripple effects against all the Terrans.
Okay, so a couple things. First off, I think that pro gamers don't watch each other as much as they should. I think they learn a lot quicker, but I do think that things pop up from multiple places at once sometimes. But another thing is, I think that a lot of meta shifts originate lower on the ladder than people think. A lot of people think that pros make all the meta shifts, and I actually think it's Diamond Masters low GM.
Low GM, I think, is actually the biggest player because that's the level where people notice the thing. Because if, let's say, Diamond players do it, no Grandmaster or Pro Gamer is going to see it.
Well, the thing is, it trickles up.
If it trickles
really
up,
quick,
then yes.
Because you'll see something like I remember this was so funny. Just in Masters League, there's so many there were a couple years ago so many Baneling busts against walls back when we had Newkirk Precinct as a map. And I remember because all these Protosses were like taking, they had these pylons in their walls and stuff, and I'm like, literally, if Deer was playing in Masters League right now, he would lose. But here he is in Code S.
Right.
And then suddenly it rotated in, right?
Right.
So that, like, I think that, I don't know exactly how low things will generally originate, but yeah, I don't think that pros are as often the source of the meta change as people think that they are.
What do you think?
It definitely can be in some of the more complex stuff, of course, but some of the broad strokes, I think, come from lower.
What do you think the most recent, most famous example of this is? Because there's one thing that comes to my mind.
Huh?
The most recent, most famous example of trickling up from like mid to low GM into pro play for Protoss specifically.
Probably Cannon Rush.
Cannon Rush is okay. I was thinking more like Max Pack style because that was really famous.
That definitely, we have proof that trickled up, and that got all the way to Code S and won a game. So, yeah, that's really, that's true. And that guy's just like a mid GM on
the funny
EU,
thing
right?
Is
and it went all the way into Code S and won.
All the Protosses are kind of fixed on him because they're like, maybe he has some other crazy shit, you know? So like all the Protosses were studying him for a little bit.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing because it's totally true. I know of many instances of this happening. Like Zanster sniped a build off of some guy that Juan played a ladder on. So like Juan lost to a build and was like, this build's pretty crazy. And then Zanster saw it, sniped that build, and used it against Maru. And I'm pretty sure he won one of the games with it.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's like a real way to do it, especially if you have friends and stuff. Like, I always found, for instance, that my mirror matchups improve really quickly because as soon as someone beats you in a mirror matchup, you can just steal the build.
Their build, yeah.
And it's like the speed with which you can learn. Like if anyone beats you, you take their build, then you use it, and then you know what beats it. Yeah. So then you can do that if you need,
so
right? So now you have like 2 different builds that are crazy,
literally
better
alpha
than what you
star.
did. Yeah. As soon as you lose a game, you play that build until it loses. Now you have at least 2 builds better than what you were using. So it just it goes crazy.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. You're getting me wiggly. I'm like, oh, yeah, I love talking about this.
What do you think, if you could predict one build to come back in the meta that's kind of lost its spotlight, what do you think it would be? I don't think there's any right answer. I'm just curious what you think is really strong that we haven't seen.
Is there like a matchup that we want to talk about?
I'm thinking PvZ specifically, because PvZ, there's so many builds that have like highs and lows that I think that would actually be the easiest matchup to predict it.
Well, I tell you what, right now my mind a lot of the time is on more tempo-based plays. Because I think that everyone's getting so good that these more complicated strategies are starting to be able to be used.
Sure.
Where you have like certain windows that you can win during, but then it like will fizzle out if you're not moving your army correctly, for instance.
Right.
I thought that it was really neat. I believe we were looking at it on In-Depth, some of that weird Colossus Blink Stalker garbage.
Oh, yeah, that was
because it really looks like garbage, but then you're like, oh,
how
wow, you're actually
toe-to-toe
opening yourself.
like,
Right? You're getting yourself some windows where there's some real possibilities and stuff. So, like, I don't think that is necessarily just a solid opener or anything, but those are the areas where my interest is very peaked in.
Right.
How does this type of thing work out? Yeah.
Okay, so back into this game a little bit. Do you think Kier always planned to re-racks, like he just knew it was going to be really strong on this map or something, and he just kept throwing it down? Because originally I actually felt like he was memeing, like straight up memeing.
What do you mean by memeing?
By memeing, like I mean like he's almost willing to throw the game away. Like he's like, okay, this is really bad. Like, what am I going to do? Start a factory at home? Like, I just kind of like make the best of a worse situation and just take the racks.
Well, I think.
But now it's almost like he's just like, I'm doing it no matter what. Like kind of preemptive. Like if he scouts it, cancel, build here. More like that. Whereas I thought he's just like literally like, shit, I'm basically dead. Let me throw down another racks.
Well, I think it was a little bit of a mind game. But no, I don't think he was like throwing. It seems like he's got this mapped out to be a pretty decent strategy. It seems like something Maru would like to do as well. Obviously, he's a teammate with Maru.
Yeah.
It seems like something that would be good against Rogue, so that can help as well, where you kind of perceive its strength to be quite high.
Sure.
And even with the cancel, you can see, like right now, are you valuing Kira's position over Solar's?
Yeah.
You are, right?
100%.
Yeah, so it seems like even with the cancel, you're okay.
Yeah, he's in a great spot. Especially if he
like
if he's
canceling a
able to
barracks isn't always the end of the world. A lot of people look at stuff like that and they're like, the game's over.
Usually
But
it's
like,
really bad though. Like
yeah,
he did a really good job of not making it really bad. For example, if this was 2 racks without a gas or something like that, that's really bad because you have no tech.
Oh yeah, well
you
if
have
it's
no racks.
in that case, you're done. Like you just let it build and hope the drones don't come or something.
Exactly.
For sure. But because it's Reaper and because he has the second barracks going behind, even if you do send drones, it's like, okay, at least you're losing economy there. Maybe you have to cancel the barracks again or something, but maybe it's partially salvageable, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he did a great job. All right, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah,
'Cause I think that we're starting to fizzle out here, but even like just this amount of Zerglings, it's just like, it feels so good if you're a Terran. Look at that.
I love the barracks layer, though,
is so
seriously.
good.
It's
Yeah.
like such a good use of this building that's not going to get that much value.
Yeah.
Just putting a bit of damage on.
Oh, he's doing an amazing job. Oh, that could have been big. I'm surprised he left. Even he valued this one Reaper.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the reason why he jumped out of there is because he couldn't micro that Reaper to the back.
If he didn't, I almost think it was worth losing a Reaper. But I think he's actually just
If he could
smarter.
have guaranteed the queen kill, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I think but I think he loses 2 Reapers there. In that
2 Reapers
case.
for queen I'll take. But I think he actually just played safer. He's actually just a better player. Like, this is what most really good pro gamers would do, I think. Or, for example, if you're playing, like, I don't know, poker. This was, like, statistically the best thing to do, right? The statistically the safest thing.
It's kind of like the medevac thing we were talking about last week that could cut off because of Beatles music.
Oh, yeah.
Where, statistically it's like, okay, how many times are you going to... so what we were talking about last week was how greedy Terrans sometimes are with Widowmine drops, where they keep the medevac there and try to pick up the Widowmines and get out.
Yeah.
And when you can do that, or you sit it behind their dead airspace, whatever you're going to do with it.
Right.
When you can do that, you look like a Harlem Globetrotter or something like that, right? Like you're bouncing the ball in between your opponent's legs and just like dunking on them.
Right.
But the average value that you're getting out of this would be much higher just to get out with the medevac, because so often you lose the medevac trying to recover the mines, and sometimes you lose it no matter what, of course. But yeah, I like the idea of what is the average value that you're looking for here, and he did the high average value play as opposed to the greedy play, which might have been trying to dive on the queen, and then suddenly the queen gets saved, and you've lost a Reaper, maybe you lose 2 Reapers. Now suddenly this force that we have in the middle of the screen right here, look at that, with 2 less Reapers, that is not anywhere near as scary, seriously.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, I think actually the lower skill you go, the more likely you are to take these statistically bad choices that have high outcomes, high gain.
Yeah.
High gain, high risk, right?
Yeah.
I think the worse, not the worst, but the lower level player you are, the more likely you are to take high risk, high reward. Whereas the higher skill level you are, the more likely you are to take the very statistically safe thing because you believe in your abilities to use those units later on for more value, right?
Yeah, yeah. You want to grind a little bit more out, gain your value where you know you can gain it.
Perhaps in TvP, when we're talking about the medevac, they just think that is the best way to gain out the value.
Sometimes, for sure. Yeah, I mean, every situation can be different, but you see it enough that you know that this is sometimes for sure a greedy play.
Yes. All right, so roaches.
Yeah, what do you think about these roaches being made at this point when you already have this many speedlings? Do you like it?
I think at this point he's a little bit more like, what are you going to do, right? Build a lair and tech up and get evos and stuff, because that kind of opens you up to timings. I feel like roaches are just the safest thing to do, but also opens you up to some aggression, possibly.
Okay.
I think I like it more than evos or lair or anything like that, right? Like if I build 2 evos or an evo and a lair or something like that, it feels really wide open, especially against Hellbats. And a lot of the time, the follow-up from something like this is Hellbat Reaper or something like that, because Reapers are so good against Banelings. You can Bane, volley and split your Hellbats and stuff. So this is just the statistically safest thing to do, and that makes the most sense. But I don't particularly like it either. Like, it doesn't give you much tempo. Like something like a Lair and Evo, if you get away with it, is way better, right? Well, you get +1, you get a Lair, you get a Bane speed. All this stuff is just so much better for the mid game. Whereas roaches are just like, what am I going to do with these past like 6-7 minutes?
Anytime you make roaches early, that's always a place to look at. Like if you're trying to improve as a Zerg player, or you're trying to analyze a position in a game. I think that one of the most interesting units in the whole game for this is the roach, because they just scale so poorly.
Yeah.
they become so bad later in the game, and they don't do anything. They're not active. Like all these units that we're seeing, Reapers and Hellions, they can do scouting, they can get drone kills, right? They can harass creep. There's a lot they can do. They're active units. They can gain you value throughout. Whereas if you look at a Roach, the Roach doesn't do anything except kind of deflect stuff or do an attack that shouldn't work.
Right. No, it's true.
Yeah. So I always look at that because it's like, oh, 6 Roaches. Well, I mean, I guess if you're scared of a Hellbat attack, this is really, really smart.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's at least respecting it. I don't know if he's really scared of it. I think it's clearly evident that he is respecting it. He's respecting some kind of aggression.
So on 41 workers.
Yeah.
I mean, he has 5 queens. His creep spread's not all that good. Obviously, he wants to get his queens out in the front a bit better. Yeah.
Did he never scouted the 3rd CC, right?
I don't believe so.
Oh, he did.
Never mind.
Okay, now I'm really curious because if you scout the 3rd CC,
it doesn't feel like there's any way to attack either, especially on Turbo Cruise.
Yeah.
Because the green areas, like Reapers, will punish you in there.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you can't dodge grenades at all.
Good luck moving your Roaches through here. They're just gonna nade you forever.
You have to walk all the way around.
Nade forever again, and then you're gonna nade forever again.
Yeah.
Like by the time you get there, they'll have like 7 siege tanks and 4 bases.
And it's 30 damage each time.
Yeah.
Right? From 6 grenades each time, as long as he's not.
So that means that we have to assume this is actually just a defensive play.
Right?
The question is, after 6 Roaches or whatever, because that's probably the bare minimum for defense. It you just make 1,000,000 drones.
Yeah, you would have to. You would have to.
That's the only real way. Like literally 1,000,000. So let's watch what happens. Because I think you're right. I think there's no way Solar doesn't think like this either.
Yeah. It would be really surprising if he just went across the map.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay, so finally he's going to lay another creep tumor. By the way, that 1 creep tumor kill annoys me so much. Like, I'm just looking at that little area where the queens slow down. I'm like, oh, God, I don't like that.
Like right here?
Yeah, well, this area in general, especially if you're trying to defend against this crap.
Yeah. So he is building 1,000,000 drones. So that is just
Evo's getting his, yeah. We have Mech coming up. All right, let's look here real quick. Okay, he actually did go through. I want to check exactly.
Oh,
okay.
he did. What?
Okay, hold on. Let's just watch the drone or the pop of the Roaches. Okay, they just popped out, right? He's getting his harass done. Yeah, this is surprising to me.
This is surprising, yeah.
The thing is, a lot of amazing Zergs, the best Zergs in the world, do things like this.
Yeah.
Right? We were looking at a Serral game the other day.
Oh,
where he just made the Roaches and
moved
went,
out
and it's
then
like
got wrecked. Yeah.
It's like, oh, is this good? It was the one against Marine Lord, remember?
Yeah, wasn't that Reapers too?
It was
That was an early pool versus Proxy Rax Reaper.
Yeah, do you see this though? Like, this is so bad.
Could you imagine sending your Lings through these too? Like, you see all these Hellions, and your Lings are now stuck in a fucking circle.
Well, they went in there like 10 minutes ago, so yeah, it's.
Yeah, it feels bad. So now he's retreating. He's going to lose.
And this was not a very good punish at all. He could have done better. There's no reason to throw the grenades outside the green.
It's true. I love this, by the way. At certain points, when you look at armies, Zerg players should just immediately be like, these Lings will never do anything here. Never.
Yeah.
And this is one of those armies.
Yeah.
Like, you don't look at this and you're like, oh, maybe my Lings can get like, a couple of leads. No. They're going to do nothing. So what's the best thing you can do? This is like best by far in every single way, because not only does it gain you tempo, worst case scenario you turn around, best case scenario you kill all these workers, and mid case scenario Hellions come home.
Yeah, those are all great. Those are all really reasonable.
Yeah. So this is a great play.
And I mean, you made those Lings really early on as well. By the way, that is the 2nd Overlord kill that Viking's getting.
That's pretty big.
That guy's a badass.
Yeah, look at this. This is really, really good play by Kier, and really, really good play by Solar, both of them.
Yeah, look at that. He gets a couple Hellions. Gets an SCV or 2.
Oh,
look at this. 4, 5?
Yeah, this is great.
7?
Where are the Hellions? Oh, look at that. They came home. So this should, like, everything.
7 kills still.
And it's still killing stuff. This Hellion going to die?
Whoa. He got 4 Hellions and 8 SCVs.
Yeah. That was really
How
good.
Does that
and
even
all the
happen?
Hellions went home, so we were building drones.
The pressure comes off.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. So basically he went from losing, like definitively losing, I think we would say. Not definitively, but definitely not in a great spot.
It looked like advantage cure.
Advantage cure.
I don't want to
maybe like 60,
I don't like even the word
60%.
losing there, but advantage cure.
Yeah, 60% I would say in favor of Cure if we're going by statistics, 40% for Solar. To now, I would say 60% in favor of Solar. Maybe, yeah. I would go 60%. So he just flipped the game with the units that we said are basically useless. So
Yeah,
that's
they
pretty
did
impressive.
so much. It's especially with how this game started, the quick third CC. We don't have a full wall.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the exact timing of it. Maybe he should have walled with the CC. We see that a lot as a third CC.
Yeah, but if you're Kira and you are on the map with all your Hellions, why not? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that was totally fine by Kira. I only think is maybe he should have had more Hellions at home than 2, because he had 2.
Yeah. Well, he was definitely trying to keep that pressure on.
Yeah. You can't really fault him too heavily.
Yeah.
Also, his response here felt a little bit weird. Like, 8 all those Hellions and all the SCVs.
I was just surprised how much he lost there.
Yeah.
By the way, that scouting rack's still doing a great job.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Spire?
I like it.
Because I actually like everything here from Cure. I mean, from Solar, rather.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Yeah. Like, I like the double Evo with Roach upgrades specifically. Still a little bit of harass. And
Yeah,
I like Into the Mutas. I really do.
9 Mutas. I like it. The problem with the problem with Mutas is if they know it's coming, it's so bad. But
He doesn't even have an eBay.
yeah, Kira has no idea. I mean, you see this amount of roaches, you probably don't expect Mutas. The only thing that's a little bit weird to me, does he have it?
Oops.
Does he have roach speed? Yeah, he does, right?
No, no.
Oh, he does.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay. I was going to say, the only thing that would be really suspicious to me is if roach speed wasn't there, but it is. So there's literally no tell. I think the best tell here would be roach speed, right? Like, if there's no roach speed, you're like, what the fuck? But
yeah, yeah.
with roach speed, you're probably pretty safe. You feel pretty safe?
Well, he just saw the Mutas, so he threw an eBay down immediately.
Yeah, it's a little late now, though. The only thing is, that's so many Mutas, actually. You could actually just fly on top of this if you wanted to. It would be really bad, but he could.
Well, I don't think you get 7K for making real bad moves, so.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be really bad, but it would be bad. This is much better. Look at that. There's just more RSCVs that have died the entire game.
Yeah.
Basically. Oh, look, he is doing it. This is crazy. When I see that many Cyclones, I never dive.
Damn.
That was a big punishment.
4 Mutas gone.
Oh no, their Rax was slowed. You couldn't leave. Yeah, this is pretty good for Solar, or for Kira actually. I actually don't particularly mind the Muta decision, but at the same time, it didn't feel like it really did anything. You know?
Well,
Like,
you
it
know
killed
what?
those
He
SCVs.
killed 8 SCVs. He is forcing turrets. I mean, at this point, I would assume that you're going to force at least, like, a Thor or something out of there as well.
Sure.
It's not the biggest
Doesn't feel
deal.
great. The only thing is that he's done a really good job of utilizing his momentum for drones. Like 80 drones is a lot.
70 right now. 10 more on the way, yeah.
10 more on the way. I like it. Hive is on the way. Like, it's really hard for Solar or for Kira to fully engage on the map because Mutaling can actually spiral so out of control. Like, you're never going to leave, right? Like, you either win that fight or you lose your army, right? Because retreating is basically impossible. Especially on a map like this where the circles and the Mutas and Lings are just way faster.
Well, you have to go around, like, at the edges or something.
Yeah.
Clear the creep and just go in and out there. It's not. You're definitely not as mobile on this map because of the green.
If we didn't go Mutas, what would be a better option, too? Is there actually anything that
it's hard for me to find a point where I don't want to see the Zerg go Mutas, to be perfectly honest. I feel like the Mutas actually, even though we're seeing it used a lot more right now, I think it is still an underutilized unit. I think it's extremely hard to use well, but it's one of these tempo type of base plays. Like, you're forcing reactions out of your opponent and whatnot.
Sure.
And it's active, which I love, but
the only thing is, like, do you remember Scarlet versus who was it? Was it Keen? Where, like, she went Mutas against battlecruisers and just got bopped completely.
Yeah, and we saw that a bunch more times from other pros as well.
And they all got bopped as well. Like, all of them.
Impact had a very good game with it. And
against
was it TY?
He had a good game against TY with Mutas? Is this true, guys?
I believe so. It was on Acropolis, and it was like a very good game. And it was like the exact same position.
Really?
Yeah, I'll look through the GSL games.
Wait, if that's
the
case, then we should actually do like Scarlet versus Impact in that situation because it's interesting.
Well, the thing is, and if I recall correctly, it was against TY on Acropolis, and he ended up losing the game, but it was a very good game.
That's interesting. Because when
and the
Scarlet
Mutas didn't do super well. Well, I still find that to be a very interesting thing. Maybe we can go over
what the difference
these
is.
Muta transitions on an in-depth episode because, yeah.
Sometimes they do really well even when they get bopped, and other times the Zerg player just crumbles immediately when the Mutas don't do anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like, when you
Yeah.
think about it, it's very rare that mutas just win the game, right?
Yes, very rare.
But at the same time, some Zerg players, when they get shut down, they get proper shut down. Game, like, almost ends immediately. And other times, they'll do pretty poor job, but they'll just explode all over the map. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they'll take bases, they'll take drones, like, they'll just be everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, once you have to counter mutas, it's like the power of mutas is almost never in the mutas.
Yeah,
it's in
like
the
reaction force.
Yeah, the fact that your opponent has to react to them.
Right.
It's like that's where it's powerful. So you have to utilize that kind of time advantage that you're gaining.
Yeah, which does seem like he's doing so far.
Yeah, and we see it a lot. I think it's a lot more straightforward in ZvP than it is in ZvT right now. Against Mech specifically.
I think, you know why I think that too?
Yeah.
I think that's because Terran doesn't have to respond as heavily as Protoss does. Like, Protoss feels like they have to respond a lot more because cannons get killed so fast. For example, you can just repair this turret, right?
Yeah.
But cannons left alone can be really killed really easily.
Yeah.
And also, their units in general don't chase down mutas very well. Like, for example, Stalkers are okay, but you don't want to make those because they're complete garbage against everything else.
Yeah, you
Phoenixes are good, but you need so much time to actually build them. Archons are okay, but they're so big and bulky, and they don't, you know what I mean? So it's like all these units don't really do a great job, so you need more time to kind of prepare your defense. Whereas Terran throws down a couple turrets, and they're like, well, I can just repair this at any point. If I want to be really safe, I'll throw it in a second turret. No one without 30 mutas is attacking 2 turrets, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think also against Protoss, when you go mutas, very oftentimes, especially if it's more than like 8 or so, like if you're actually making mutas, you always have the option for a base trade, which can actually, even when you're behind, win games for you.
Right.
Because that can be very hard to stop because of your mobility as Zerg.
It does not feel the same way with Terran.
You know, it's definitely different against Terran.
Well, I think this is why we talk more about momentum in TVP and why it's more straightforward.
In TVP?
Or in PvZ, sorry.
Oh, okay.
In PvZ, because there's more of a reaction. There's more of like a clear, like, okay, the Protoss needs to do this before they do anything else. Whereas Terran, Terran, they're like, you made mutas.
Or you switch
there's like a
your
50-50. I'm just going to attack you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it gets really weird. Because the Zerg is not going to be like, well, maybe I could base trade. That's never the option. Because if there's one Thor.
Exactly, right? Like, between a Thor and, like, some turrets and stuff, you
Whittle
kind of
mines,
counter
like,
it.
whatever it could be, right? It could be so many different things. Whereas Protoss, you're like, what could he possibly have at home?
If Protoss doesn't have a Stargate, they might switch their whole unit comp, right? From a regular Immortal-based army into, like, something Stalker-heavy. And that's, like, a completely different army than that you're making.
Or double Stargate Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever.
And the thing is, have we not seen a big increase in mutas in ZvP lately?
Yeah, we have.
And the thing is, I think that this has to do a lot with people getting a lot better at the game because it's still difficult to do, but people have really started to figure out what you can do with that switch. Whereas against Terran, there's a bit more nuance to it, maybe.
It's a lot more. Like, even their current army size can change the total game. Like, let's say there were 2 Thors and, I don't know, fucking 10 more Hellions. There's a good chance he just pushes across the map. Right? Like, this isn't that push across the map army yet, especially after he killed these mutas, though. It's getting close, though. Like, even one Thor, I think Kier flips a coin, you know, and it's like, you know what? Right? Like, there's a period in time. Also, even this map may determine that he doesn't do it, too, right? Like, there's so many factors with Terran where it's like, maybe he attacks, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he takes a 4th, maybe he doesn't. Like, there's just so many question marks, whereas Protoss, you're like, he has to respect this for this amount of time, otherwise he's getting counterattacked. And we're going to a base trade or whatever. All right, let's play.
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting, though. And this particular group of mutas, right, he made 9 mutas, I believe it was. He lost 4 of them to those lock-ons when he jumped on the Cyclones, but he killed 8 SCVs. He forced 3 turrets.
It's impressive that he's actually, like, posturing to attack with them, because he has to know there's a turret here.
Yeah. Oh, well, he lost the mutas, so it's, like, a little bit sloppy, but I think even just poking here is all right. Your mutas aren't going to do much of anything else.
Yeah. I think he's trying to keep his attention elsewhere, too, because, like I said, there is an attack going on. Oh, this is huge.
Oh, yeah, look at that. 12 kills.
That's huge.
What the hell? I actually had something else, though. We can look at the Banshee thing again. I want to just jump back to this exact attack. Okay, so I'm wondering if this is a good map or a bad map for Mech. My original prediction was that this would be a good map for Mech because of these green areas, but I was thinking more on the order of siege tanks and not battle mechs.
Siege tank mechs Yes, this is a good map for it.
But with Battle Mech here, now hear me out, right? Because Battle Mech, you're running in and running out consistently.
No, there's nothing to hear out. This is a bad map for it.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, well, let me say my thoughts, and then you can add whatever you want for the people that aren't on the same wavelength as us. Because I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, so you run in here, and then guess what you do? You run out through here.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the whole story. Because you can't run through here or you lose, right? So it seems silly.
The only thing is, like, perhaps you can utilize the circles, like, if you go around.
Yeah.
And then you go, like, down this way, and then they have to go through. But
I guess, but he just turns around here, which works exactly as well, right?
it just feels like a normal map. Like, and also the middle you have to just completely avoid if you're the battle mecher.
Yeah,
like fungals on this would be devastating.
Yeah, you literally can't go through here. Well, the biles will always hit.
Yeah, and
right?
fungal bile would kill your
coming
entire
out or running away. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
It's like you can't go through the center with battle mech. You can't go through here. You only have this.
Yeah, and you have the ramp.
It's like imagine that you're going battle mech on Cyber Forest, but you're only going through that middle with the two rocks on the side. It's like that's what he's doing here. What is this? What is this?
No,
The thing is, I love Kier's play, but in particular, going battle mech, I'm not a fan of.
I think Kier kind of, well, so far he's doing a really good job, but I think this was based off of what happened earlier on.
Yeah.
Like the roaches and stuff kind of forced it into this. Because he wasn't going bio, and I don't think he wanted to go...
keeping pressure on when you force that many lings and roaches early on feels like a good idea regardless.
Yeah.
But, you know, the ling counterattack did a lot.
Oh, this is good. Is this good? I think this is actually good for Kier. 12 workers killed.
I would say so. Like the Banshees did their job.
He's still killing more.
Eh.
Yeah, this is a little sloppy, but I actually think he was controlling the Banshees on the other side, too.
Yeah.
I actually kind of wish he just wouldn't have, or he would have gone basic, like, mech siege tanks and pushed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you give your opponent more time to come back when doing things like that. You and I have talked about this quite a bit on the show at this point, where, like, are you supposed to go mech after proxy barracks if you do damage? Isn't bio
yeah,
you see this? This is so bad. You can't do this here.
We should actually do an episode on mech styles and, like, when we should do which mech and, like, because it's so interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, like, concept, but it feels like if you do damage and get ahead, bio is just better, you know?
Yeah.
As much as I love
the thing is, too,
mech.
it's also a little bit more risky. Because if the Zerg player feels like they have to all-in you or something, and you have a bunch of Raxes finishing up with tech labs and reactors, you're going to feel like an idiot. Or if a Nidus drops or whatever.
But you can tech up to Banshee and go back or something.
That's true.
There are builds like that.
That's
so
true.
I'm not... Like, I'm always kind of a fan of Terrans teching way up and then teching down.
Do you think this map in general would be a better mech or bio map?
Well, I think it's a good map for siege tanks specifically.
Yeah, I agree.
There's
like
I just look
at
at the various bases, and it seems
imagine
like
bio
it's
with like tanks.
Yeah, exactly. Like Zerg basically gets 3 bases on this map, and everything else is very attackable with a tank bio.
It's true. I used to feel like these would be great questions to ask, like Juan, because I think he is a little bit more of a mecher. It would be interesting to get his opinion. What was that, by the way?
Yeah, that was weird.
Somehow he was able to give away all of his cyclones, basically.
Well, he attacked up the hill with only cyclones. I'm not sure what that was. If he was looking for a lock-on the hatch or something, I'm not sure.
I think he was just doing other things.
Yeah, maybe.
And his army was doing things.
Yeah, it could be.
That's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
That's cool.
It's not even good. It's just annoying.
It's all right to do.
Yeah, no, it is.
I mean, you have 2 mutas. They're not going to do much else.
Ah! These 3 Banes could kill every Hellion.
He's gotten into 7 broods behind this.
Yeah.
During all this going on.
I find it when really good Zerg players find those little windows to get Broodlords is really impressive. Because every time I do it, I just die.
Yeah.
It's like I can't find the window because I either get attacked and then killed. By the way, these Broodlords are disgusting. What is that? It looks like they have growths on their backs.
They do. They have like little electronics.
They're not even doing anything. Like there's no little fire coming out or anything.
They don't need fire. These are remote control Broodlords.
Oh, remote control Broodlords. I see. Do the Broodlings have special things on them? Are they remote control
hilarious
Broodlings?
watching stuff go through the screen. Oh, are there Broodling skins?
I think
That's
so.
crazy.
Oh, and I see these ones have fire.
Oh yeah, they have rocket boosters.
Yeah,
Look
so
at that.
all of them are using the rocket boosters, but the Broodlords are flapping.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, wait. Back to the game. So, Kier's decision to counterattack, I think, is the best, but also kind of like feels like making the best of a really bad situation. You know what I mean? Because he's basically just giving up his base. He's also not building anything out of his starport, which is a little surprising. Do you think he's in base trade mode now? Is this full on base trade
right
mode?
now? I think obviously the counterattack is a smart move because heads up, his army against this army is not very good.
Yeah.
So if you split off and counterattack, Broodlords are a little bit slow moving, and if Solar makes any mistakes, like he's giving Solar a lot of opportunities here to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Where if
That's
Solar
true.
sends away his ground army from his broods, then suddenly you can just kill the broods.
Which
you
is
know?
what he did. His ground army's completely gone here.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, this gives him a chance. I see that the replay is only a minute longer, so I'm not, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll see.
I'm not a huge fan of Kier's position. The one thing that's interesting to me is he's building a bunch of cyclones.
Yeah,
not
some people
Thors.
like this.
Because, like, why not just, if you wanted cyclones, why don't you fight with cyclones? But really good move, just to save these drones. I just want to use Kier's view. This gives, like, basically what Kier's prioritizing. This looks really bad if you're Kier right now. Ah.
Oops.
Yeah.
You got one
That's
hatch.
a big oops.
It seemed like he was in a bad spot there.
You can just kind of tell by his camera that he knows he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay, so
he's just prioritizing killing drones right now.
I know that we're spending a lot of time in this game, but I actually want to jump back because
Sure.
this was... I actually think this was quite an interesting game. And we both felt like it was at least advantage Cure until the Ling counterattack.
And then it was advantage Solar. I don't think he ever
But
regained.
how did it go from... Okay, so we know how it went from a position that we both viewed as
Advantage.
at least some advantage for
Yeah.
Cure, and that doesn't necessarily mean a win, but like Cure's doing well,
Yeah.
to Cure's behind. But how did it go from Cure's behind to this?
Right. Oh,
And
that's interesting, yeah.
I feel like it's the unit
It's more
composition.
I think it's when the
more than
Broodlords
anything,
kind of
but
snuck in, right? Because I think before the Broodlords got up, it was a pretty even game still. Like the Hellion Cyclones weren't doing great, but they weren't doing bad. We had the Banshees do stuff, and then all of a sudden the Broodlord showed up, and we had no answer from Kier. Not one little bit of answer. So the game really changed more towards maybe 10 minutes, not 6, I think.
you think, okay, I just wanted to get up to the Ling counterattack and just really look at the position. Okay, so this is right before the Ling counterattack, right? So what does Solar have going on? Okay, he's got 54 drones, not too bad considering.
Oh, that's good.
Double Evo on the way, layer on the way. Okay, standard good stuff. Kind of a weird attack that doesn't work out. Okay, what does Kier have going on?
Oh, he
My
already has a
guess
13C
is he's
finish.
already decided to go Battle Mech.
Yeah,
I think for sure
definitely.
there's not any reactionary stuff going on. I think this was his build for the game, I think.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad decision either at this position, or at this point right now. Because you see a bunch of Roach Ling. Like, why not go Battle Mech? Isn't Battle Mech okay against that?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Okay,
is
so this attack happens. We already looked at this attack pretty closely.
like even just like pulling all the Hellions back and letting you build all these drones. Now look at the drone counts. Like 59 to 38. That is a huge edge.
Yeah.
Not a little one. I think before actually we may have over guessed Kier's position. I think it was more at 50-50.
Okay.
But still now it's like a very obvious advantage. Like all the Hellions are home. There's like a 20 drone lead. You know, Solar feels no pressure. He could build even more drones if he wants to.
Yeah.
I think he takes a 4th base. Like he just is in a great spot right now.
Mm.
The question is, how do we go from Reaper harass to this point where there's 60 drones and no cares in the world?
Well, okay, so I mean, just moments ago, it was 46 SCVs with 3 commands against 58 drones, right? And that's a lot closer.
Yeah, that's a
lot
that's
closer.
a 50-50 position, I think.
Pretty much, I would say, right?
Yeah, like possibly a little bit in favor
And
of
the
Kira.
standing army's not even scary for Solar or anything. It seems like a defensive army.
Yeah.
So that just that group of Lings, isn't that funny?
Yeah. it
How
is.
how much that can turn it on its head?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost wondering if it'd just be better for Kira to play defensive the whole point, but I think if you do that, you allow... What at the same time, does Solar care? Is Solar going to build less drones because you're not on the map? I feel like he's going to build the same amount of drones either way, because after the Roach count is like set, he just builds drones, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't really care if the Hellions are on the map or not.
Yeah, he doesn't care about this army all that much. Like,
Is that the same 6 roaches too?
yeah.
The only thing is possibly he could have done a run by.
Well, he made a few more roaches.
How many's he at?
9. And
Oh.
he lost maybe 2 during that weird attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels like if the Hellions were at home, though, my point is that Solar would have built the same amount of drones if the Hellions were on the map, right? I think so. I think we both agree on that. I think so. I don't think Solar sees these Hellions like, oh, shit, I need to build more units.
He's got enough roaches that even if they turn into Hellbats, you don't care.
Yeah. So
and he's seen the 3rd command center. He knows that this is not, there's nothing that he can do that's actually going to be scary. So he's going to drone at this point no matter what.
Yeah.
So the sacrificing of the Lings to kill all this is obviously amazing.
So I think Kier's best position would have been to just chill at home with at least some Hellions. At least
that's interesting.
At least giving him 3 more Hellions at home or something. Because
how do you make that choice?
It's hard.
How do you look at? Okay, so the Ling attack hit around 6:30. Let's look at 6.
I think actually you can actually reasonably just make this decision though, as Kier.
Let's
follow Kier's vision.
As a matter of like course, like is it a decision where you instantly automatically make it? Because look, all right, here comes the attack. I think it's very obvious that right now it's good to have these units here because roaches are moving.
Agree.
Now let's look at the window in between chasing these units back and the Lings counterattacking and seeing.
Sure.
Because if you can make that decision, you're on your way to a GSL championship as far as I'm concerned.
You should play from Kier's view. Let's see what he's looking at.
Okay, yeah. That's good. That's
good.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Okay.
So right now we all agree that this is just good. Like
okay,
he's
so
killing roaches and stuff.
He just forced everything back. He's rotating towards the 3rd. This seems smart. This seems good.
Everything's good right now.
Okay, yeah. Here it comes. 4 roaches.
We didn't see any Lings there. I almost think we have to make the call now. Especially because we're not attacking. Okay. Right there we should have made the call. So either also wait, did he see this? Okay. When was this Viking?
Well, he definitely didn't see it.
I think he had to make it really fast. Also, Solar did a really, really good job. Like, Solar made that same call that we're talking about, but, like immediately.
He instantly moved the Lings. He instantly realized that he could run around. The thing is, I'm looking at Kier's moves. From Kier's vision, it looks good, and just in theory, it looks good.
Yeah, I think as soon as he saw no Lings at the 3rd, and he wasn't going to attack. Those are the 2 options. Either go for it right then and there, and go for drones, do whatever you're going to do, like go, or go home. There's no, like, wait a little bit longer and then go because it doesn't do anything, right? The longer you wait doesn't help your position here.
Well, you do want to roam with this a little bit and pick off what you can at the edges.
Kinda, but at the same time, you're leaving your base open.
Well, yeah, not having the wall
we saw no Lings here.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm a little scared if I'm Kier.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily are thinking.
Actually, I think he does respect it a little bit. Like, he hasn't sent his Lings, his Hellions home. These Hellions are still here. And also, he was trying to finish his wall.
Yeah.
And also, he has his rallying Hellions set here.
Yeah.
So he is respecting. He's just respecting with the bare minimum. This is just not enough respect.
Yeah, and the split of the Lings here is really fantastic as well.
No, it is. Yeah, he does a great job.
Perfect split.
This is like enough to be threatening.
Really perfect.
And this is enough to do a lot of damage.
Like, you have to micro heavily on these Hellions, and then the Lings are going to push everything back.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah,
this is just good. But even right now, I feel like Kier's doing a bit of a bad job.
Well, it's...
Like, these attacking, hold positioning these would be a million times worse, because you wouldn't focus fire with Lings.
That's true. Yeah, you could glitch them a little
bit.
Like,
right now, what is going on? This Hellion just dies. There's still Lings. It feels like all momentum is lost now.
Yeah.
Everything we had going for us is gone. You're behind in workers. Your Hellions are at home. Like, it just feels like a really miserable position to be in.
The way I would like to look at this, in my opinion, for Kier, is that the thing that I would want to improve in the future is having this wall done.
Yeah. I agree. Or at least...
Because I don't feel like he could have split some of his Hellions off to go home. Like, I feel like he moved his army really well, and he's made so many good moves this game. And these Lings hit at, like, such an early time, such a good time. It's crazy how good it is.
The game difference would have been huge if there were just 4 Hellions here immediately, though.
Yes.
Like, the whole game would be
agree with that. Absolutely agree.
All right, I think we've looked into this one enough. This is interesting, though. I don't think Kier did anything wrong, really. He just got punished, like, in a very unfortunate time. It was like the split hair like timing, right?
So decisive. It was so decisive. Yeah, I love it. Great play by Solar, no doubt.
Yeah, it was great play by both. I think Kier wasn't able to capitalize on his advantage as much as he could have, but I really feel like Bio, especially when you have 2 racks already, like it just feels better. If he could get 1 racks at home and get a tech lab up on it at some point and get stim, like it just feels
are
so
we
much
talking about
Bio
as
versus
opposed
mobile
to
mech? Yeah.
yeah.
Because you have 2 Raxes, right? 1 Rax is already. I think he sent 1 Rax home, didn't he? Where did the other? Because 1 Rax was floating around.
Yeah, maybe he sent it. No, I think he had 1 in the center and 1 was up in the main for a long time.
Did that one just die?
Maybe.
Because he had it on the factory. I don't know.
Yeah.
He sent 1 home though and do the same thing.
Well, either way, like I think he pre-planned for Battle Mech. I don't know how many pro Terrans make the decision after the initial rush, after the initial pressure, something like that, to go one way or the other. I think a lot of them have it pre-planned.
Sure.
Which is not unreasonable either. What are you looking for?
I'm just looking at Solar's Overlord scouting. I like this Overlord. So this one scouts 3rd base area and then goes into a position where it can scout. This one scouts Reaper jump spots. I don't know. I feel like this one's a little bit lazy. Because especially
where is it going to next?
Like you're never going to proxy racks here, I don't think. It doesn't. There's no jump spots here.
Yeah.
I think the most likely racks proxies would be somewhere over here. Because there's a really quick
Well, I guess it must
access.
be scouting for just proxy barracks Marines then, right?
Yeah, proxy barracks Marine would be okay here, I guess. Actually,
and drones can't really counter Reapers being there, so you wouldn't put your Reaper barracks further right than this, right? That wouldn't even make sense. There's no point because they're never going to send drones all the way here because it's such a travel distance.
But it's more about keeping it a secret. But yeah, you're kind of right. Like you're not.
I almost feel like the rally is good enough where I would just do it.
Oh, Kier clearly agrees with you too, because he can cancel it, rebuild it, and still make it work.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Kier doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we have more of a standard opening this game.
Yeah.
Which I like to see, especially after opening proxy racks going standard. The next game is great. I love Solar's Overlord positioning. I think this is something that we could designate an episode to.
Oh yeah.
It's just putting your Overlords in certain places.
The scout patterns as well. We went over scout patterns a little bit on I think some Cero games from WESG. They were really cool the way he was getting into mains and stuff. Yeah, this is always annoying.
This is so great by both players. Like he sent his Reapers like, oh, I'm just gonna go over here, and then you expect the cancel, try to build it. But Solar just doesn't give a damn. Look at, they're both like, come on, come on, cancel it, cancel it. That's what he's saying right now. Oh, he canceled. Oh, but he rebuilt. He's literally playing this dancing game. Yeah,
I love
control that.
That's great. The Queen coming down.
Yeah, now he's just the Reaper is just being annoying.
I love
the greatest to watch like their vision on this because they're actually just so good at like macroing and doing just being annoying. Like look at this. He's just doing an amazing job of like.
He's basically doing the absolute maximum he can do to delay this
without sacrificing like actual production or whatever. He's just doing a great job. It's actually something very artistic about prioritizing your harass as a Terran player.
Yeah.
Especially when we get to like Hellion run-bys where they're like sending the Hellions back here, shooting, going back, building Raxes, looking back like they don't lose anything still. Like they do an incredible job of like
timing out
the volleys with your production basically.
Yeah. Hellions shoot slowly enough that is so doable.
Yeah. Look at. He does it again.
Yeah.
Let's watch this. He's actually just so good at like all the Terran players are really good at doing this stuff.
Slow it. Regular speed. Okay.
So this is regular speed. He's harassing with a Reaper in the main, or he was. Volley goes off. He's taking a little bit more time, but
Lings are on him.
Builds an orbital.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he spent a little bit more time than, say, Maru, but it's still really good. Like, he's not missing anything. Yeah, like, his production didn't skip a beat. Like, everything is still on time. So perhaps he even knew where his production was. You think that comes from just playing a ton of games, too?
Yes, 100%. Eventually, you figure out, like, every moment for every unit.
Yeah, I think the most obvious example of this is injects, because injects are such a periodic, like, inject thing. Like, injects become very, especially middle game, because there's less, like, queen play, like this.
Yeah.
that they become very much like internally clocked, like every 15 seconds or whatever, or 45. Your brain's just like, I need to inject.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even know the time, but I know the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, numbers don't actually matter.
You know, it'd
You
be
need to
really
actually
interesting.
build it into your
You know what we
brain.
should do?
Yeah.
We should sit down a bunch of pro gamers
Mm-hmm.
and start a timer and ask them, like, when's the inject? You know what I mean?
I think it's harder if you're not in the game, though.
That's
you know what I mean?
that's true, but I feel like I could do it.
Maybe.
And how close are they? Like, obviously,
the thing is,
they're okay with
if
being
you
off a
sat
little
here,
bit.
like, I can macro vultures like no one's business, but if you're like, now tell me when the vultures are, I'm like, I need my hands on a keyboard.
Well, you can do
I
that
need my
too.
headset on. I
That's
need
true.
the music going or whatever.
Sure.
You know, it's
So you
it definitely gets
do you
built
think,
in.
So
though.
do you think then like something that's from the game then, like not something that you can do repeat outside of the game?
Well, you want everything to be the same as it always is, right? Because it's like, imagine how insane you would go if your entire waking day, every 40 seconds, you're like, I need to inject, right? Your brain is not made for that.
That's funny.
Whereas if you're in the game, you have all the stimulus that you normally have when you're doing that. So I think it's like maybe you can kind of do it, like you can kind of feel it, but
Yeah. I'm curious how that certain players or certain people, how much that affects them, you know? Because I think it does affect more people.
What do you mean?
Like some people have that stronger than others.
what, the timing?
Yeah, even outside of the game, possibly. Whereas some people need that stimulant from the game or whatever it may be. And I totally understand it too. But like, for example, like, I feel like if we started the game, I could and I just had a blank screen in front of me, and I was like, when do you build the extractor for 1312? I could do it.
Yeah, maybe if you're sitting at a computer with your keyboard and mouse and
Yeah,
stuff. I
like
could
I'm
go
just
through.
sitting
I
here.
could go through a build order
Yeah,
probably to
I'm
70
actually
supply.
100% sure I could do it. Like
Without-
you're like, the game started, okay,
Yeah.
and I build an extractor like right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I bet you it would be really closely timed
Yeah,
with
it
like
would
the
be.
proper
I think
1312
so.
timing.
I think so.
And I think with certain people you could do that. The interesting thing is like how that becomes like a thing, you know, where you're just like
Oh yeah, it's
externally
just, it's
stimulated
lots of playing.
to the time where you can build things without even looking.
Mm-hmm.
I think if StarCraft was a different game, we could play blindfolded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to a certain degree.
The problem is like screen movements are not. We don't have the ability to move our screens like the way that it would be necessary to play blindfolded.
well, definitely mental practice is
Like
a
if-
real thing. Like
If StarCraft was a chessboard,
yeah.
we would definitely be able to play blindly. But
Well, I think that you can kind of go through games mentally, for sure. Like, mental practice gives you a big percentage of what regular practice gives you. You can go
Yeah.
through certain situations in your mind, no doubt. But you need to build those mental representations by playing tons and tons of games.
yeah. What are your thoughts on the time or the amount of games we play versus the time of the game's release? You know what I mean by that?
What?
So like, we all have a ton of games now, like
Yeah.
60,000 probably.
yeah.
The average pro gamer probably has around 60,000. It's been 10 years, but the game has been out for so long at the same time. Like, what do you think about just mass games versus over time massing games? Like, I'm trying to think of my thoughts, but
Okay, so
it's kind
for
of
the
hard to-
most part, the later you play the games, the more valuable they are. So that's why we have young players that rise up, as opposed to all the players that played forever being as good.
Right.
Because a lot of the stuff you learn in the old days actually becomes a bad habit eventually. So a lot of things that were really good in the beginning, in the very beginning of StarCraft 2, using F2 all the time was great, right?
Well-
because it would just make you quicker at moving your army around. and
StarCraft 2, the beginning.
Yeah.
There was no F2 until Heart of the
Well,
Storm, right?
whatever it was.
I
Right?
remember.
I don't know because I immediately took that key out, and I don't even want to look at it because I'm a StarCraft 1 player. But what I'm saying is, like,
No, I understand.
things that were bad habits or are bad habits now were probably strong back then. And I'm sure I can come up with some examples of that. But the meta changes, people's speed changes, right? So, like, thing is, I've played, I have no idea how many hours of StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
But if you look at all the games that I practiced in 2002, if I even think too deeply about what I was doing back then, it'll make me worse now. Because it's so bad compared
Sure.
to what you do now.
That's
and I was
true.
so much slower, and I was so much stupider. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like there are certain little tiny bits of experience. Like there's probably a couple things I can do with a ghost that a new player can't do or something,
Sure.
but it doesn't matter because it's like
There's almost something like
it'll never come up.
there's almost something romantic about it, though, right? Like back then, because there's just so much to learn and
Yeah.
so much to do.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like the thing I miss the most about StarCraft.
Well, right now it's more about optimizing than being creative,
Yeah,
even though
exactly.
creativity is still a big part. Right now
such
it's
a
like
small part though, right? Right now, specifically. Like for example, creativity only gets you so far against
Okay,
somebody like Cyril,
well, the thing
who's
is,
just a rock.
once you hit a certain level, because you need to get to a certain level, but then creativity becomes very important again, because Cyril actually brings out some very creative moves. Like, do you remember that 3 Roach drop with the Baneling and the Overlord from GSL vs. World?
Yeah.
That's some creative stuff right there, right? He's doing some stuff that you don't see every day.
Yeah. At
because
some
once
point, it
you hit a
almost feels
certain
unnecessary
level,
though. Like.
well, no, I mean that's the thing. If Cyril was playing against Cyril, and
That's a
Cyril
great
1
point,
didn't
yeah.
do that, and
You're
Cyril
right,
2
you're
did
right.
do that,
No, you're
Cyril
right.
2 wins.
You're right. You're totally
yeah,
right. I
yeah.
agree with
so,
you.
I think basically what happens, right? We actually can see this in StarCraft 1 that's been out now for 21 years, is when you get to the absolute top level, it
Right.
becomes completely creative and all about mind games. Like you casted
Right.
Effort
No,
versus
that's
Flash,
totally true.
and yeah, it was beauty in that way because they were both basically mechanically perfect.
That's
So I think creativity is a big part, but if you're still an improving player, it's a much smaller part because your mechanics will get you a lot further than your creativity. Your creativity will win you a game. Your mechanics will win you many games.
I mean, at the beginning of the game, it's just so different though, because there's actually just we don't know how to play yet. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost not necessarily all creativity,
There's a
but
lot.
there's just so much like things you just can't understand or comprehend yet because
Yeah.
they don't.
Well, it doesn't matter how good your mechanics are if you don't know how to kill a Colossus.
Exactly. I just kind of miss like figuring all that stuff out because I think that's one of the reasons why it was so fun, StarCraft. And I think it's part of the reason why StarCraft right now doesn't feel as fun as it used to be, because everything's so figured out now, and everything is like you open this way and we go to this part of the game and we go this part of the game.
Yeah, and if you can't keep up with those things, like basically your level of mechanics and base play can always be improved right up to the very top.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can be creative, but you're going to be at your level creative.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just be creative and get to the top. It's very difficult.
Right.
Whereas like someone like SOS, he's basically at the top, very creative, busts out these moves. That's why for years people were saying he was the hardest player to play against because he was so creative. But yeah, it's like, for instance, if so you're someone who's like brink of GSL level, right? So you can be creative, and like maybe one day you get into GSL and another day you don't.
It's true.
Whereas if maybe you
Just kind of-
revise all your basic play over time and make that better,
Then
then
eventually
maybe
I
you
would
get
pass,
into GSL all the time, and then you're being creative. And it's like, do you get round of 16 or 32 based on
there's
that?
there's like this minimum
Creativity gives you
threshold.
little movement.
There's like this minimum threshold I was so close to passing that if I passed it and I was able to maintain it, I would get in almost every time without bad luck. But it's not easy, man. It's a lot of work.
No, I know. Yeah.
Like the first time,
hard.
also it was so dependent on the player I play. Like I could lose to a way worse Terran, but like I could beat some of the best Zergs at the time.
Absolutely.
Like I've taken games off of Cyril and just with memes.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine, but I could play a very mid-tier Terran back in the day and just lose. Like my Olimoleagues were off by like 1,000 at some point, just because my ZvZ stacked up way better than my TvZ. And when I got in the first time, it was off of innovation or off of Impact twice.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it was pretty nice meme. I mean, Impact won VSL like a couple months ago, but I get 13-12 him every game, and he just didn't know how to respond. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of where I think StarCraft 2 is at a fault right now, though. Like speaking in a more broad term, I think the game is figured out quite a lot, and it gets a little bit more repetitive than it should be, which is why I think the big balance changes are so necessary, because it stirs the game up for pro gamers. It stirs the game up for everybody.
Yeah.
And when we see peak interest, it's after those, usually after those big
well,
changes.
I think people have a lot of fun with that. Because I think people do like to figure out new things and have very new, novel experiences.
Well, it makes the esport more interesting too, because if something crazy,
I think it matters
out,
what you like. Okay, like for instance, I spend almost all of my free time playing Brood War and practicing mechanics.
Yeah,
because I find that to be actually quite a fun thing, even though I'm actually more of a creative player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just I
don't
think
find
it
that
matters.
you get angry more, like it's feel more repetitive.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
It can be fun. It just kind of matters what you like, I would say. But the thing is, you can get very creative even within a metagame. Look at Max Packs again. We were talking about him earlier, right?
Okay.
It's like he's just completely creative. Now he's not gonna. he'll move a little bit with the creativity, but he needs to work on some other things if he wants to get to the top.
Well, let's back this up a bit because you can still work on your mechanics. It doesn't change unless the game completely brand new. Mechanics that you have before patch will still be useful, 90% of the time.
Yes.
Unless you're like really shoeholed into this like weird strategy that no longer is relevant, your mechanics will continue to push through.
But your mechanics will be at different levels too, based on builds and stuff. Like for instance,
Sure.
Terran would be the easiest way to explain this. Your mechanics with Marines and your mechanics with Mech might be slightly different. Right?
I agree.
So,
right.
you know, as the metagame favors something, or you have to change build orders in certain ways.
Well, I mean, I think that's the beauty of StarCraft too, though.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if I would prefer like a more like. No, I don't think StarCraft 2 can be stagnant like Broodlord though, because it's totally different.
But the StarCraft 1 meta changes quicker than the StarCraft 2 meta even right now.
Practicing StarCraft 2 mechanics is very different than practicing StarCraft 1 mechanics, I think, because there's so much improvement there. Where like you can be like one of the best players and have so much gap between you and Flash or gap between whoever. Whereas like when StarCraft 2, when you hit a certain point, your mechanics are no longer your limiting factor, and practicing them kind of feels shitty because you have to grind your brain against like nothing.
Yes,
it's more about like your strategy, who you're playing against.
Yeah,
maps.
You're going to get a better feeling if you like to practice mechanics playing StarCraft 1 than 2 for sure. I would agree with that.
So at that point, we do need to stir the game up a bit because, like I said, when I remember practicing 12, 14 hours a day, I would run into the same situation over and over and over and over and over again. I felt like I was bashing my head against the keyboard. I think I told this on In-Depth once before, where it was PvZ specifically. It was Lingbane Hydra versus them sitting back at home. It was me trying to attack the third, them trying to defend the third. I either won the game or lost the game, and it was over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like same map. I remember playing like the same map almost every time because they would veto 3 and I would veto 3.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to die.
That can be very interesting as well, in my opinion. If you look at that, right?
It can be, but if you keep playing it over and over and over
again. But there are little things that you can fix each game to get better and better in that situation.
I definitely got better.
Yeah.
And it helped me improve quicker. Yeah. But at the same time, it was the least fun I've ever had.
This is actually like a fact. If you look at things like deliberate practice, the things that are going to help you the most are going to be the least fun. And the things that are going to help you the least are going to be the most fun.
That's true, too.
That's actually, if you really want to improve, that's a great way to find a good way to improve, is find the thing you want to do least. That's going to be the thing that's probably going to make you improve the most.
It's true, because that was actually when I got my best, too.
Yeah.
My best PvZ, I was after, like, those sessions of, like, 12 hours of PvZ. And it was the same thing over and over again. Eventually, I found the right way to prioritize attacking. When to attack, when not to attack.
Exactly,
How much damage I need to do to be ahead. Like,
that's
all
super
of these
value.
things. I learned all of them in such a short period of time. I remember Hurricane was like, what happened? And I'm like, what do you mean what happened? You're like way better than you were like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I didn't notice that. And he's like, you're just way better.
I wish I could get that in Broodlord, the same game over and over.
Yeah.
I'll get 2 games that look the same every month about.
I think that's another problem with what we're doing wrong in StarCraft 2, is there's not enough deliberate practice against certain things. Like, certain things that we all know we're bad against, we should be deliberately practicing against.
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
And it's basically goes for every pro gamer that maybe, except for maybe Cero. But even then,
I wouldn't be surprised if Sarah already does it, to be honest.
It's possible, yeah. Is this Hellbat? Do we have an armory?
No, I don't think it's Hellbat. No. Yeah, it's just regular.
Is this even stronger if we have Hellbat? I don't think so either.
No, I think, yeah, this is going to be more micro-based, right? So this isn't a strength push. He's getting lucky with where he's finding the Banelings.
Yeah. Is he getting lucky or is this just bad? Oh.
Well, yeah, it's both, right? He's lucky and Solar's bad.
Ah! That was sick. Like, it was really cute.
Yeah.
He tried to do something cute, but it didn't really work out.
What, the 2 Marines stopping?
Yeah.
I liked it.
It was cute.
I think it was as good as he could do right there.
I agree.
Considering how close they already were.
Let's see if he can keep the momentum up. This looks like a bee or a wasp.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Looks
like a raven.
I was about to say,
shoved up
looks
the
like
butt
a
of an
raven.
overseer.
I was literally about to say that.
It does, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got raven wings.
It looks exactly like that. That is like a butt of a raven.
Yeah, it's like a raven has an overseer skin on.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like.
That is what that is.
Now we need
that's like an
Terran units with Zerg skins.
So the question is it a raven wearing an overseer like skin around it?
Yeah.
Or is it an overseer that like fucking, I don't know what the fuck it
raven?
Ate it or something? Is this a changeling?
Yeah,
okay,
no, that's a raven, man. There's a raven in there.
Yeah, I think there is. So is it a raven pretending to be an overseer, or is it an overseer pretending to be a raven? Or ate a raven?
Well, in this game, we know that that's Solar's unit, so definitely it would be an Overseer that ate a Raven. But it looks more like a Raven.
I think it makes more sense that
a
Raven's like has an Overseer mask on, right?
Wrecked.
Wrecked. There was no mech point in there. All right, wait, we have to go back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
as exciting as that Raven was.
Unfortunately, this isn't actually like a cast where we can just like meme.
You're just like, yeah, I don't know what happened there, guys. Whatever. So he's got this group up here.
Go ahead.
Let me jump up there. Okay, so he's doing like some light creep pushing back here while he sets up the tank. This is such a small little push, though.
Yeah, this is really, really well played by Solar. I actually don't think Kier was expecting such a quick response.
Yeah, because his group was up here.
Yeah.
I think in theory this might have been an interesting move because he sets up the tank there, and then as soon as he gets his Marines like over here, it becomes very annoying.
Or he just like
because
spreads
then
out
it's
even.
like, do you attack here? Because if you try to go around and get the tank, he can maybe hit drones or something.
Right.
Seems like I normally don't like tiny move outs like that.
Oh,
Like it was 8 Marines in a tank or something.
Especially when the tank siege up, because then you're like, well, now that tank is at least dying.
But
right?
yeah, but because of his multitasking and the fact that he had a group up here, I kind of get it.
Where
because
is
this
his
is
medevac
spread
up
a bit. I mean, Solar's already pretty big for how early it is, right?
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is why Solar's so good, though. 74 drones. Also, he just doesn't give you anything. The only thing that he's not doing great is like his creep spread is kind of limited, but that's not even on him.
Yeah. Kier's been pretty on top of that.
Look at these upgrades, by the way. All of their upgrades finish at the same time.
That's how you know you have 2 high-level players.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, yeah, this is something I want to look at this game. 2 factories being added on. Your thoughts?
Really like that. I like one
Why
factory,
do you like
but
it,
why
though?
do I like 2?
Why
Maybe
do you
because
like
you want to build tanks and mines?
Hmm.
Or either that or you're just building a bajillion mines. But I think tanks and mines makes a lot of sense. Also, if we get into this weird position where there's Broodlords, I guess you can build a bunch of Thors with your bio.
Oh, that would be weird. Okay, so it's Lingbane Hydra that he's against.
I guess
and
what are these
for a long time we had the 2 factory tank push timings. Is 3 factory a lot better?
Did he cancel? Drilling claws?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, well, three factory tank is good against Lingbane Hydra.
But we never really see that though, right? It was always 2 factory.
Yeah, 3 factory is interesting. I don't mind it if you go
Because don't you
4
have
CC
to
though.
get 2 tanks out of each fact to make this make sense, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you don't go 2 eBays for a 1-1 timing. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I like the 3rd factory. Like, you can afford it, and you're going 4 CC. Like, what are you gonna do? Build up more Marines?
Yeah. That's
like tanks are the real power punch here. But
it
the thing is, he has to kind of
he
watch
has
out
to
for
hit him before
Broodlords.
Brood. Yeah.
And the 3rd factory doesn't feel like it does too much for that, right?
Well, he's only making 2 tanks right now, so that hurts. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, maybe he's actually trying to hit a crisper timing before Broodlords.
Yeah, well,
you have like
you'll
have like 2 or 3 extra tanks then. Right?
This is the tension of the play. Like if you're doing a tank-based push against Lingbane Hydra, you have to hit before Broods, and you have to do damage before Broods. Because otherwise you just lose.
Okay, so here, do you think that the 3rd factory helps you accomplish that? I think it actually does. Because you have like, what, 2 or 3 more tanks for the push.
That's what I'm saying, is you have to wait 2 rounds to make that really pay off. So you're going to have 2 more tanks, but he threw 1 tank away in the bottom left. So you're going to have probably 1 more tank.
Why don't Terran players scan more in like for Hive's timings?
What did he see so far?
He hasn't seen anything.
Click on
He
him?
doesn't even see when the infestation pit's going. Like, there's a chance the
Yeah,
Hive
he
is
has
done
no
already.
idea.
No? Do we even know? Like, could the Hive be done at 9 minutes? Totally. It totally could be done.
Right?
Yeah. And if you're waiting this long with a 3rd fact?
You kind of have a little bit of intel. I mean, the thing is...
A little bit, but like at the same time...
Yeah, it's not really enough.
It's not enough to tell.
He could
Like, the Hive
squeeze
could
the
be
Hive.
done
He could squeeze the Hive.
yeah.
Like, if you look at the bank, you're like, yeah, I mean...
Hive could be done.
Yeah.
So if the Hive's done and you're waiting for the 3rd fact to actually produce tanks, and then you move out with, what, 9 tanks, and he's got Broodlords, you're just dead.
You got 7, 8 Broods below this, or over this? Yeah.
So why don't we scan the main?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Especially when
Let's
we
see
saw
if
the
he
lair.
does. The thing is, I don't think you're expecting Broods quite yet. Let's see if we see a scan. I bet you he does scan. Because you do have to check.
Yeah. Well, you have to check because if his Hive's done right now, you start building Thors or Vikings or whatever, right? Although he is pushing now.
Let's check when the actual push moves. Okay, so he's got how many tanks? He's got 6. He's only got 6 tanks. That is not...
I think he might have gotten 1 tank from the third fact.
Because this is like such an old way to play because this was so popular, these Lingbane Hydra. So it was always like 2-2 and siege tanks right before Broods push.
Yeah. Almost feels like I'm watching Wings. This is how players played in Wings Liberty.
This feels like 2 years ago to me.
It's 2 years?
Right? Wasn't it 2 years ago? Or was it the beginning of last year? Maybe it was the beginning of last year.
Yeah. Well, there was a... Yeah, you're right. Because there's a period of, like, everybody refused to use Hive units, right? Like, no one went Broodlord or Ultra. We just went Lingbane Hydra forever. And then people started going into Broodlords again, and then it was like, well, now we can't really stick on tanks. And then that's when we started seeing some evolution. There was a period where Zergs were like, we're never making Ultras. Ever. Fuck that unit.
Oh, yeah, no. Ultras definitely went away. But I feel like Broods were always around in the very late game.
Actually, not really, though. Like, back then, it feels like Ultras were, like, the only unit we considered.
When?
At certain points. A couple of years ago, when we were going Lingbane Hydra. Because we never got Spires. And I don't know why, but it felt like Broodlords were not an option back then. I'm not sure why. There might be something that... think about all the games where we had Broodlords 2 years ago. Like, it just didn't really happen.
I feel like... Oh, gosh. No, I think you're thinking of 2016. 2016 was all about the Ultras.
Maybe.
2017
this is a long
had
time
more
ago
Broods.
for me to think.
Yeah, no, it's hard to differentiate the years, but...
Especially when we go farther back.
When I'm thinking about it, right, like... okay, so this is the way that I try to get the years going in my head. 2016, Nurcho was the best foreigner. Okay, so think of it in that way, and you remember him making Ultras a lot, and other Zergs making Ultras a lot. It's when he was like a top 5 Zerg.
Right.
And then, like, after that, it started getting more into...
So who was the next Zerg after that? After Nurcho?
To think about?
Yeah.
It was just the regular Korean Zergs. It was like the Rise of Rogue and Solar and Dark and Sue. And obviously, like, Serral was rising up.
I don't have enough memory to remember the period that was Broodlord list, but there was definitely a Broodlord list period, I remember.
Okay, so 9 tanks right now. I just want to see where they are. Okay.
What a fight if you had to fight up that.
So he's got just the 6 he originally left with. And the way that they're positioned... Did the third fact do anything?
No.
Right? Not
but he's
really.
also getting a 5th CC, right? So he doesn't even really think that this ends the game. But at the same time, if it doesn't end the game, what are you going to do with the extra And he's also getting upgrades for it still.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
He's not building enough factories for it to be like a factory transition, because sometimes there's really weird Terrans that do stuff like that.
The thing is, at the end of the day, adding an additional factory isn't going to necessarily make or break you.
I think he just doesn't
Builds
care
don't
too
have
much.
to be as exact as people think they do.
I think it's just not exact, and he's like, well, if I max out, then I can produce
maybe
faster.
it's even because he lost that other tank. He's like, I really need at least 6, you know?
Yeah, I don't think there's too much thought process going on.
There might not be.
Though it was in response, because he did cancel drilling claws. It was in response to whatever he saw at some point. He's like, a third factory is necessary.
Well, drilling claws were going, and then maybe he saw Hydra. I think when you see the Hydra, you generally cancel it, or that's when you decide that you don't need that.
That's annoying. If his army was just sitting here, this would not have happened. That's actually just a mistake. Like, there's no reason the army should sit here instead of here.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would not have died if there was 1 siege tank, so... I still feel really bad for Solar. I feel like his hive was just late. It just feels like that.
Well, it could have been quicker.
Yeah, it could have been quicker. Yeah. That's my point.
Yeah. But was it actually late, though? Like, compared to the norm?
I mean, he felt like he was in a really good spot for a really long time, so why not have a faster hive? 11 minutes, I think Broodlords are out usually, no?
I don't know the exact minute.
How do you ever...
Damn, good blind clouds.
These blinding clouds are actually messing him up.
Yeah.
I'm actually amazed that fight went so well. Oh.
The blinding clouds, man. They did everything there. Turns out Lingbane is really good under blind clouds.
Yeah. He's got the right amount of Hydras, too. I always overmake Hydras when I do this.
Who do you like right now in this game?
I like Solar.
You like Solar this game?
5 Corruptors, Broodlord, Tech open. We've got Vipers, Lingbane Hydra. Creep spread's kind of shit, but who the fuck cares? This base is up. I mean, the only thing that's kind of scary...
Cure has a lot of bases.
Also, where's Ghost? Okay, Ghost. Oh, what? Why do we have 2 starports too? This is really, really weird to me from Kier.
Like, the play seems slightly unrefined, but good.
Yeah, it feels like he's not necessarily.
I don't know what
Sure.
his plan is.
Yeah,
But
I don't
he's
think
playing
he knows
well.
what his plan
You
is.
know
He's
what I
like,
mean?
I'm opening up all these options
Yeah.
for
Like,
when I want to.
I have all the buildings.
Yeah, 3 starports, 3 factories. I mean,
He's playing like a Zerg. He can produce whatever the hell he wants right now.
yeah, he has a Ghost Academy, but hasn't made any ghosts yet. He's getting every upgrade too. It just feels like he's opening up every path for whatever he wants to do, but he hasn't decided what he wants to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he knows. The best part is he knows what's coming, right? These starports are for the Broodlords that he knows are coming at some point. Because he saw
yeah,
Hive.
it's always going to go into Broodlord from here nowadays.
Yeah. I kind of miss Ultras.
I think that they're underused, criminally underused, man.
Well, they're pretty bad right now.
Yeah, is that right?
Well, they're definitely bad against a bajillion tanks. Could you imagine? Let's take the Broodlords out of the option here. This would be the most hilarious fight ever if you split up all your tanks. And like, unless there's a million blinding clouds.
You know, yeah, well, there's not just blinding clouds, though. You know, when you start looking at things like tempo-based plays, that, you know, that's kind of the area that I'm most interested in. I think that they become a lot stronger, right? Like, anytime you're engaging on creep, they're going to beat basically everything. Also, in a spread-out game like this, you send a couple Ultras with your Ling Bane to a base, you're going to take it out, you know?
Yeah. He's so good, by the way. Like, leaving that one tank, because he knew that tank was dead no matter what. Doesn't even unsiege it.
Let it do its volleys on whatever's coming.
Yeah. Ooh, parasitic.
I love Parasitic. Any Zerg that consistently throws down Parasitic has my vote.
Haha. What's your vote for best Korean Zerg right now?
I tell you what, I don't know right at this second because all of them have been doing poorly, but Solar has been picking up, right? Like, if you just look at his results in his games lately, apparently his MMR as well.
Yeah, his MMR is scary.
Yeah, maybe Solar has finally done it and become the best Korean Zerg because he's never had that title. I guess we'll see this season, though, since we're starting up again.
All right, let's look at this fight a little bit. First off, I really like Kier's, like he's had these tanks taking a lot of shots for the Banes, and then he has all his Marauders in front of the Banes again. Like, where are the Banes? There's no Banes anymore.
Yeah, he spent everything here, and then he just has this very small group
This
underneath.
army is so scary, like, for Solar, because, like, if you lose these Hydras, which are already really flimsy, these Broodlords die.
Yeah, Broodlords can't be alone.
That's why he's backing up. Like, he knows that these Broodlords are really, really vulnerable. Kier scans to see if he should chase. He decided he shouldn't. I think the option to chase would be okay, though, if he did it.
It's 5 Vikings.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is interesting. This is a really interesting move.
I like it a lot.
It's so good, but it's...
The Broodlords were just hitting you, and you know exactly where they're going. And look at his group that he has up here. He's going to try to deny the 5th with the group up at the top.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is a 5th denial, and this is a 4th base killer, or a 5th base killer. This is a 6th denial, and then the 2 medevacs are going to kill the bottom left. So, like, and he knows the Broodlords are basically in the center right now. This is great. This is great.
I actually think this is why he didn't chase it. Like, because I think he would have chased it if he didn't have all this going for him.
Well, yeah, and he's got the right stuff coming behind as well.
Because
he's making Vikings and Ghosts.
If he trades that by army with that, you're happy. And I think it would have traded. But if you don't need to do that if you're doing all this too. Look at this. So now he's just being annoying, keeping like, oh, look, I'm up here. I'm going to harass you, right?
Yeah.
Keeps it
now
up.
Gets out of there.
He's going to drop it again.
Beautiful. And that's a kill. I don't even know what's there, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's nothing there. He pretty much knows there's nothing there, too. You can send the other group in, too, now if you want to.
Great move.
Throws in a command center immediately, too. Like, that's such a good move, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, all right, now the Zerg player has to at least rebuild this base. Build another base. I'm going to throw it on a command center.
Plus, you're still harassing over here. You're taking up his attention. He's dictating a lot right now.
He still hasn't shown up yet, which is surprising. Okay, now he's here. And we just leave.
So much value. And by now, he's got like
look at
10 Vikings.
Look at that scan. That's a 6 scan, no?
Oh, he's watching to see if the because he hasn't seen the Broods yet. Yeah, so that would be
a 6 scan.
That is a good scan.
Like, his army's far enough back that he wouldn't get fought yet. But like, I'm wondering if this is like, should I bring this back to join my army, or not? You know?
Oh, so you're thinking if he scans and sees Broodlords there, these medevacs make a U-turn?
Yeah. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they continue to stay out here.
You could try some sort of flank or something, but I think he has enough Vikings that if the Broodlords are up there, he sends it elsewhere.
Another command center. It looks like, yeah. This is just interesting. I like the scan anyways. I really there's something
17 Vikings.
There's something impressive about scans from Terran players and like their ability to just kind of scan all around where they think the threats are, and then kind of position themselves to a place where they can win the fights. Because without scan, I don't think Terran actually works as a race in this matchup. If you think about it,
it doesn't work as a race at all anywhere. StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2.
That's so interesting.
Because Terran is like the
positionally so important. Yeah.
It is so important because everything they have is like ranged units. So you have to be very careful about your flanks and everything. And there's no way to do it all and see it all. Like you have to have scan.
Yeah.
It's like a wonderful mistake that they made giving Terran Comstat.
Yeah. Being that investor really important.
Parasitic bombs are so good.
I actually feel like this fight was a little bit haphazard from Kier. Especially watching it from his view.
Well, his scans showed him he could jump on the broods, I think.
Look at all these Vikings!
Yeah, the parasitic bombs really killed.
If he had one more parasitic bomb, every Viking would be dead right now.
You know, well, the thing is he scanned, so he probably would have done the engagement differently, but if the Hydras were on the left here, instead of coming from the bottom where the siege tanks railed them, this attack would have gone completely differently.
Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like this fight could have been better.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. This is great. He's he's gonna snipe and pick them up.
I love it.
It's just annoying. I can't believe he's still rallying across the map. What do you think about that? Especially, like, we're watching from Kier's perspective only right now, right?
Yep.
So base in the bottom left is killed. We took a pretty even fight. I would say that was like 60% in favor of Solar, but his economy is clearly worse. And we're just rallying all of our Ghosts, Marines, Marauders, Vikings, tanks straight across the map.
I can see two ways of thinking about it, right? If you're rallying across, you're trying to win through micro. Like you're going to control your units heavily during that engagement. Like just keep on hitting, right? Keep hitting, micro, keep hitting, keep the pressure on. But after killing off all the broods like that and you've killed the extra base, I think that you realize that you definitely have more than him. I actually kind of like massing and then going.
Yeah, that's
because
like
even
you're getting the chance of like sniping ghosts off.
Exactly. If Solar does one thing really well here, then suddenly we can have a more even game. Whereas if you just macro for like 1 minute and go again, how does he get together an army that beats that? I feel like that would be a slightly better choice here, even though it's hard to criticize what he's doing as well.
I wonder if he'll scan again. If he scans the army, I think he can truly tell if he can do this or not.
Okay, so he was rallying, but it looks like he's kind of... That's funny, he's sending a hell of a lot up there.
He sends his entire army. He's like, there's an overlord I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Send the armada. I feel like he's just F-doing at this point, too.
Feels a little bit like it, the way the army's
moving.
Look at the army.
Look at it. It's just like a string in two different directions. It looks like a flock of geese migrating.
Look at the movements.
Yeah.
I'm just staring at the mini-map right now.
Either he's really confident or he just doesn't care anymore.
Good scan. I like the scan a lot.
Yeah, that's a good
look at how he moves towards the south right now after that scan. Like he's canvassing the center, and I think he'll move up and attack from that. Oh, no, he's going to go right through the creep? I guess you have the high ground advantage there.
I mean, perhaps he was checking to see if he'd get flanked. I think at this point he actually just... Somehow he's way more confident than we would be. I think at this point he just knows.
He actually has maxed out. He actually has macroed for a minute like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Even though it looked like it was going to be a rally, very aggressive type of play. Now he's maxed, so it's like the hardest thing for Solar to hold.
Yeah. Look at how aggressive he is even now. Like he doesn't split.
Jeez.
He doesn't split. His tanks are really far forward. I mean, like, he just does not care. That was the most disgusting puzzle ever. And it doesn't even matter. Look. He's not even microing. Still. He's just sitting here. I think he's being sloppy. Really.
It definitely does look sloppy.
But I'm curious if it's sloppy because he knows he's won already.
Well, look how many bases he has and stuff.
Actually, at some point you're right though. Like maybe he actually just knows that if he takes even the worst fight ever, if it's a fight, he's ahead.
Yeah, I think that is reasonably probably.
But the thing is, if I think about it, if he gets completely crushed, like all the Banes roll in and kill everything, like I don't necessarily like his position. Like keep going, like a couple more times, like that happens. Like we're just kind of giving him opportunity to lose.
Yeah, I think that there was so much action that game, and he was hitting so many places and doing so much damage that he had a very good idea of what Solar was capable of.
Yeah.
That happens, you know, especially for a pro gamer.
Perhaps if this was like GSL finals too, he would take it a little bit more seriously, do you think?
Well, to be honest, like the way he did that last attack, it was sloppy when he engaged, but if you look at what his production was, like he's still producing off 3 facts, and like his army's not necessarily the best, but he made a strong early game army.
Right.
Based on, or sorry, one second, there we go. He made a strong army for that push. He got damage done. He eliminated some bases and whatnot, and then he beat a Broodlord army.
Right.
So he kind of knew what he was able to do, and he did max out before going again. Because I think if it was a more scrappy thing that you were asking me about before, that could have been dangerous. But
hell, that feels bad. Although we get up both of our Raxes, so it doesn't matter. I think at some point, if they pull SCVs, it's actually or drones, it's actually good for you.
Well, if they don't stop it, yeah, I think so. Who's killed 1 drone so far?
Oh, yeah.
2, 3.
Bunkers are going to get up.
4.
This is already really good, by the way.
5. 5 drones killed. Oh, 6 drones killed, sorry.
He also has the bunkers up, if you can get Marines over there.
Nah, I don't think he can, though.
He's doing it! He's running! Ah!
Yeah.
Almost.
That would be very platinum if that Marine got in there.
And it just kills everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I love how he's still doing it.
Well, I think making the Marines right now is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right.
Especially if Solar just builds a million drones. I don't know what. Kind of like sending both Raxes home. I understand why they do this, but okay, now he's doing it.
Was he looking for an Overlord there?
Double tech lab feels really good when you do this. Stim and combat. Especially if you don't build. Yeah, I was gonna say especially if they don't build a tech lab here. 'Cause you don't want too many tech labs. At some point it gets weird. I wonder if he'll double tech lab. This one seems kind of slow to do it though.
See that?
With the Ling?
Yeah. You let the wall down. The Ling's like, nah, I'll stay.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny.
What was that gonna be? A tech lab factory? Is he scouting something?
No, I don't think he really has much vision.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know what that was all about, actually. I was going to say maybe he saw speed finish.
That's what I thought.
But he actually didn't.
Yeah.
Speed was not done when he decided to switch it back over.
That's a
maybe.
Oh, is it double tech lab?
It couldn't be
it
the
is.
amount, is it? Yeah.
I'm just so good.
Damn, you're so good.
It's triple tech lab though, which is what I said I didn't like. But double tech. Okay. He really wants a factory tech. What about stim combat timing? But there's third CC too. I don't know, man. All right, I'm ready. I like it. I like the build.
He scouted
Tank's
the
really
timing
safe.
of the third there.
Plus, he's gonna get double stim and combat, so it's a little bit scary. What? He is just all over the place. Did he not have combat shield on the way?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, we just have a tech lab.
Just built a tech lab, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. It's for the 3 factories.
Alright. So that just a little bit. This is pretty straightforward and whatnot.
I like the freak out bunkers. And he moves the tank. Is there Ravagers? Oh, there is. He's freaking out, man. He's freaking out.
Gotta be careful. If you don't take this seriously, it's no one's fault but your own.
Oh, what is that? Ah!
It's hilarious that he sieged that right next to it.
That was a panic siege.
Yeah. And it wasn't even sieged for a moment, too.
Yeah. This feels dirty. I guess that's why he needed a Tech Lab factory. He was respecting this as a
I
possibility.
think he felt like he did enough damage that Solar might feel like he needs to do something about it.
I love how he's. Did he? No, I didn't. I thought he was gonna say. I love he dropped a mule there, but he didn't. I was like, that's just dumb.
Probably get away with it though.
Yeah, you would. I don't even know if Solar knows about this base. Double engineering bay. This is like crazy ballsy, but I love it so
But he's
much.
already everything's held, right?
No, it's great. Like immediately you're just like,
Yeah.
all right, double engineering bay. I
Yeah.
still don't like this though. Like he could have actually had combat shields too. You know?
It's just funny that he like lifted the barracks up from there and then
Just-
nothing's there. So
Yeah, like what was it gonna be? Another factory?
got me.
Like what else would it be? What else would we put on this
I don't
besides
know,
a rack?
maybe he's gonna spell his name with Tech Labs.
The only thing is maybe if he built a reactor for more Marines, but it
Mm.
just feels weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
Terran players, SMH. Look at this guy. Look, he does it again. He's like, go for drop. Nope. Okay, go for drop. Like the decisiveness. Oh, gets scouted. He's just all over the place. So he wants to go for a big push now instead of a drop.
It's the right play after that kind of failed counter.
Yeah, this is gonna be game over.
Yeah.
Ah.
So this is the one that's not too good, by the way.
Oh, okay. What do you think? What you think Solar's decision was bad?
Huh?
You think Solar's decision was bad?
The counterattack?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about those counterattacks before.
And they
Or
always
those
fail.
attacks before. It doesn't work. Like, early Zerg aggression, unless you're doing something very meta, like you've had some very meta builds before where you're like, you pressure with the lings, but then there's a bunch of lings behind it for when
Yeah,
they
yeah,
try
yeah.
to come down or something. Like a move like that, I'm like, oh, okay, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
mix
yeah.
that in and that can be
Right.
good. But stuff like this, where you're just like, hey, I'm going to attack you with some Ravagers.
Right.
We're going to see how that goes. I'm going
Yeah,
to attack
yeah.
you with Ravagers.
The Terran
it's
doesn't
like,
even know about it and
doesn't-
still holds it, and you're
Yeah.
like, what?
Doesn't Terran always hold this? Like, I've seen
Yeah.
people rush into BC off 3 command center and they hold that. And I'm like,
Yep.
that seems to me that isn't very
I've
good.
seen people rush into BC and blink the battlecruiser across the map and still hold it. Or they're like, you know what? I'm not
It's
even
a sad
scared.
state of affairs. There's
Yeah.
not the rushes for Zerg are not really that great.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into
It's
the
like the
next
sad
one.
state because it's kind of necessary that it's not good too. Because Zerg has a crazy aggression and crazy, like reactive play. It's gonna be really scary,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah, some of the more mid-game stuff I think is really interesting. Like even some of these Roach Ravager pushes that we're seeing. Well, not that we're seeing that, but that we've always seen. You know,
Right.
some of these 1-1 timings and stuff. I think that those can be very interesting and have some cool branches off of them and whatnot. But for very early game stuff, it feels like you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're taking away all the strength of Zerg.
yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Me specifically. That's why I've slowly stopped playing and played more other races.
Fit you better, to
Yeah.
be honest.
I think it'd be
Zerg
way more
does not fit
successful
you
if I was
well.
a Protoss.
Well, everyone says that. That
no, but
doesn't
like,
mean it's true.
no, but me specifically, like, being honest, like,
Yeah, yeah.
it would fit me better to be
Yeah.
like, or Terran even too, because Terran does like these timing attacks and then they
Mhm.
kind of explode off of that,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's how I play Zerg. But I do a timing attack and then I'm just behind the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Whereas like
that is
if I was
somewhat true.
Protoss or Terran, I could do better with my timing attack.
When Zerg had a few more weapons, I think it suited you more.
Yeah.
Like when it had drops, for instance, earlier
Yes.
on, that was
when I was some of my best times too. as a
yeah.
player.
That's more your type of thing.
Yeah. That was not good. 2 drones, 2
Yeah.
Hellions. It's so annoying, okay? When Terran players decide to just send their 2 Hellions in and they get punished really hard, I'm like, what did you expect?
Yeah,
You
did we ever
expect
see that
absolutely
work?
nothing. Like, you expect no lings, no queens,
Yeah.
nothing. Like, fuck off. Huh? That's what I think every time they do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get really lucky. I'm like, you're just the luckiest motherfucker alive.
Yeah.
I'm so triggered when it actually
Yeah.
does something.
No, I totally know what you mean. Occasionally, you just have things like
Like, you
this
can
happen.
have 6 Hellions now. He's
Yeah.
going to do it again.
Well, I guess with the Liberator there, it makes a little bit
Yeah.
more sense, right? Maybe you can draw them around. You're giving your opponent opportunities to make mistakes, and then you're checking to see if they made them. But yeah, the sacrificing the 2 Hellions, that's... What mistake are you looking for?
Exactly. You don't
It's
even
so
give them
early
the
in the
opportunity.
game. Is that a place where Solar, the 7k Zerg, normally makes mistakes?
I'm
not
impressed.
so sure.
I'm a little bit amazed that Solar doesn't go for counter before. Well, I guess he's just using his... It's just a dick move if you're Cure.
Yeah.
Just let him clean
Now,
the rocks.
by the way, about the rock clearing, because obviously Terran actually wants those rocks cleared, I feel like that is just the only reason why he stops the Lings from clearing it right then is so that creep won't be up there.
It's possible, yeah. Also, I think you just wanted to kill some Lings for free.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't really, though, right? Like, you're not actually going to kill Lings there. Like, maybe you get one.
Yeah. Oh, the 7k Zerg.
My God. Cure did not even micro. He just, like, won.
Cure's looking at that, like, are these attacking or not? Do I even care if they are? Somehow this fight is still going really poorly for Cure.
Damn.
Yeah, that was just bad. I feel like sometimes that Zerg player just completely gets obliterated, and other times the Terran player gets completely obliterated, and it's really hard to tell who's going to do it from both players. Like, both players think it looks good for them.
Oh, yeah. Ling Bane battles swing real quick.
Yeah.
Just suddenly.
Or maybe he didn't want these rocks cleared. Maybe he wanted the siege.
No, because he's clearing them himself. I feel like it was just to prevent creep, because anywhere that a push is coming, that's where you want your creep. So if you prevent him from clearing it on his timetable, then you can... It's, like, very hard to get creep up there otherwise.
Right.
Right? And especially when you're keeping pressure on the right.
What are these? Oh, he's mutas already?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is something I actually wanted to talk about. +1 mute attack versus +1 mute armor.
What do you think?
I want to know what you think.
I think if you want to be on the map all the time, +1 attack's nice. Actually, you know, I just like +1 attack always. Thinking about it, like, I feel like armor just... If you're ever going to fight and armor is necessary, your mutas are going to do nothing anyways. Like, for example, let's take a head-on battle.
That's just not true.
Let's just take a head-on battle. Mutas just feel so bad. Head-on. Like,
yeah.
You never really you just never really want to be like, oh, I'm max with Ling Bane Muta. Let's go with my mutas and everything. Like, it's always like a harass. Like, I want to do as much damage as possible.
For harass, you want the attack, but if you ever have to take an actual engagement, the armor is so much better.
You don't want to take an actual engagement ever.
No, you don't want to, but a good player is going to force it occasionally, right?
No. Because if you ever take it, all your mutas just die. The problem
if you have +1 armor, the whole point is they don't all die.
They do still. Mutas are so bad even with armor. They're so low HP.
Upgrades make a difference. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And it matters whether you get attack or armor, right?
Yeah, but if you're making armor in the expectation that you're going to fight with your mutas, you're playing poorly, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not 100% on board with that, right?
Because you don't want to fight with your mutas.
The thing is, if you let's say that you get a +1 attack instead of +1 armor, and let's say you only have time for 1 upgrade, which I think is reasonable, right? It's very rare that you see 2 upgrades on mutas against Terran, right?
Sure.
So you can only get 1 upgrade. You have time for 1 upgrade. Let's pretend they cost the same, because we'll never see Solar dip below 50-50. So we know that they actually cost the same.
Okay.
Okay, so if you choose the +1 attack, yes, I think obviously it's a little bit better for harassment because you're only dealing damage and running away. But, like, occasionally your mutas do have to fight a little bit. Right?
Yeah, but even then, you're using your Lings as a buffer, mostly.
You are, but, like, let's say that they even make, like, 1 Thor, right?
Then you'd never fight, ever.
Your mutas, literally, you may as well not bring them.
But you do that even with the carapace.
You may as well go hold position them over turrets, because that would be the same thing as fighting against the Thor.
Exactly.
So I'm just saying, like...
But I agree, I think that's the same with carapace. You're not like, well, now I can fight against the Thor.
I don't know for a fact that the +1 attack, especially against bioplay...
It's just
is better than the armor.
It's so much better. Like, you're picking off units on the map, your harassment is better. And when you do fight, you're not fighting with the mutas over top of the Marines, because that would just be suicide, even with carapace.
Occasionally you have to, though. That's the only thing I'm saying.
No, occasionally you never have to.
Dude, if the 2 players are both very, very good, the mutas should occasionally
fight. You should never fly over top of the Marines while your Ling Bane's back here. Ever.
Do you think that nothing ever goes wrong?
Have you seen how Marines kill mutas?
I know, it's crazy,
even with carapace.
It's crazy. But it's less bad.
These have 1/1.
Anyways, that's something that I thought interesting to talk about, and I knew you would disagree with me, which is why I brought it up.
disagree with you. I hope he flies over them so we can see how badly mutas are.
Yeah, I hope so too. Here they come.
Whoa. What? Whoa. There's like a million injured Marines here.
Yeah.
I feel like the Lings could fight this. So far as mutas have not been flying over top of the Marines because they'd all be dead right now.
Well, I'm not saying you magic box them over the Marines, for God's sake.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why would you ever do that?
But you don't need carapace unless the mutas are directly fighting the Marines.
Well, eventually they do.
This is such a fine battle because if this hatch dies, it's such a big deal.
I know.
This is so important for both
Well,
players.
this is what was making me think of it when I was watching
Okay,
this replay.
in
I'm like,
this
huh.
specific situation, carapace is better, but this is a very rare
I
situation.
want to say that I accept your apology.
No,
All right, go
you're
ahead.
still wrong. You're still fucking wrong. Okay? Actually, no. You know what? You're still wrong. I like attack more still. Because
Still.
your Ling Bane in the back or in the front is going to be buffering for your mutas anyways, and the extra damage is nicer.
I don't completely disagree with anything you're saying. I think it's actually a valid question about the upgrades. Like right now?
Yeah, right now the Lings are all dying.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. And
It's
I
interesting
would
that-
like more damage done still. I think it's just nicer to kill things faster with mutas.
Thing is, the upgrade isn't done regardless, so you wouldn't be done carapace either right now.
That's true.
But
And the further the game goes on, the more and more the Ling Bane buffer matters, right? Or the more, because like, yeah, this group of Marines is not that scary. But
okay, if you
we
look
get to a
back
max,
if you look back in time to Heart of the Swarm when it was always Ling Bane Muta against Marine Mine and stuff,
mutas were better back
the
then.
Mutas were fighting a lot.
Mutas were better back then. They were just stronger.
I think technically that's untrue, but I know what you mean, so I'm not going to argue it.
Okay. All right. Oh, he was almost so good. This is like the most exciting StarCraft 2, by the way. Mutas, it's so
Ling Bane Muta's so fun.
something so satisfying.
Uh-oh, it's a Thor. The
Look,
Mutas
look
aren't going to be useful ever again.
Look at, they're already leaving.
Yeah.
They've been doing so
They're
well.
getting the hell out of here, except the ones that are being obliterated by the Thor right now.
Oh, no, those are getting there too. That's something high impact or what?
Yeah, what's
Why?
going on there?
He just transformed it again. Why did you transform it in the first place? To get
Yeah, I
ready for
don't know.
Broodlords?
I don't know. Terran players oftentimes do things that I don't understand.
Can't believe this base lived.
I know. That's crazy. It was so close to dying.
This is so ballsy.
Oh, wait. By the way.
Oh, God. Is
Okay.
there another carapace meme? What?
No. Okay, so he's got 2/2,
Yeah.
+1 on his mutas. Here we are in this game. All right, let's take a look. Creep spread.
Wait, what are the upgrades?
For what?
Why is there no 3/3 on the way?
Well, his hive is just about to finish.
Ow.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sure
This is
he'll
scary,
start it.
though, because like Kier can hit a really sick 3/3 timing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's always the fear when you're going Ling Bane Muta.
Yeah.
That's like what ended every game in Heart of the Swarm.
It's true.
And okay, so just look at the position here, because I want to ask your opinion. We're going into Hive Tech.
Yeah.
What do you think Solar should be going for?
Not dying.
No. I
What do you
mean,
mean?
what Hive is going to finish.
Yes.
Obviously, he's going to start 3/3 in Adrenal.
Uh-huh.
Okay, those are the things that you have to get. But
Broodlords.
there's 3 new units that you can get. Broodlords, Ultras, and Vipers. What do you think is actually best here in this game?
Ultras definitely not.
No, why?
'Cause Ultras are just
I like Ultras here.
No, they're not a unit. We refuse to believe they're units as Zerg players.
I think Ultras are good
You know what
here.
Zerg players call Ultras? They're the unit you make when you want to lose.
Zerg players are dumb, though.
No Ultras.
Okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Okay?
Yeah, sure. Does he make Ultras this game?
No.
Okay.
But he does go Broodlord. Okay,
I was
so I'm
gonna be
sure
amazed.
that now your confirmation bias is just nailing you,
I
and
knew
you're
it was
so
Broodlords.
happy
I'm
that
so
you and
good.
Solar, the 7K Zerg, both think
Broodlords
that
are the
Ultras
best.
don't exist. But I want to talk about what this game is looking like. Okay,
If he made Ultras, he'd be asking to lose.
what do Broodlords need with them?
Ling Bane, Infester.
Okay, so you need to add more to this army than what he has, but you can go directly into Ultra from here, okay? Here's what I like about Ultra in this situation.
I'm ready.
Okay, because like let's say you went Ling Bane Hydra. I like the Broodlords better because you have support. Ling Bane is not support for Broodlords. It really isn't. Okay? It dies too quickly. You don't actually have any beefiness there. Okay?
Okay.
Technically, they can be used together.
Okay.
We can see Zergs do great moves with it. But I think, actually, if you go Ultras here in a slightly defensive manner and then go into Broods later, I think that's way better.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go both of them at the same time.
I don't know. Ultras are so
bad. Look at
bad.
the type of army that his opponent has.
I think you're looking back in the day and you're like, oh, those Ultras were so good. They're so bad now. They're just bad.
How did they get worse?
Because Terrans are just not making only Marines. They're making units that actually kill Ultras.
Dude.
Like Marauders, like tanks.
Yeah, but you have your Ling Bane with this still. His tank count is very low. Okay, this is not things that I'm worried about right now. I'm saying in this particular game, I think Ultras are good.
You know what he does if you make Ultras?
Yeah, tell me.
He kills you.
You can't kill you as long as you're pushing your creep forward. The Ultras are the ultimate defensive unit, man.
But he's just gonna fucking max out, hit you with 3/3, bunch of Marauders, bunch of tanks, and a couple Thors, and you're just gonna be like, well,
no.
Maybe if my Banelings connect with these Marauders.
This map is so big. This map is so big. You get your creep out there. You take another base. You start to get your tech up there a little bit better.
Right here.
You get a couple Vipers mixed into your army at that point. If he's maxing out, is Solar going to sit at 162 supply the whole time? He can't make more units too?
Ultras are so bad, dog.
Oh, my God.
You know what we should do? We should go to Unit Tester and see how bad Ultras are. Because they're actually so bad.
I don't even... What are you talking about? We should go to Unit Tester and see how bad they are. Oh, my God.
Because they're really bad. They're really bad. I don't know if you think I'm just, like, being Zerg, but they're just, like, really bad.
You're definitely being Zerg. But
like, I've played Ultras so many times, and the problem is if they just sit here...
Yeah, no...
And they keep building up a better and better army against Ultras.
Yeah.
That army scales really well.
Yes, Ultras don't scale super well.
And then you go into what? Broodlords, right?
Later on, you go into Broodlords.
So you're going in from Ultras to Broodlords instead of just going from your army now to Broodlords.
Okay, listen, here's what I'm saying, okay? Because you never attack with Ultras.
Exactly.
Anyone who attacks with Ultras, that's the Zerg looking to lose.
Sure.
Okay?
But you can also just die being defensive, too, sometimes.
No. It's more power more quickly, especially with this army that he has.
He doesn't need more power more quickly, though.
If he gets attacked at all, he will defend it. So I feel like if you get into Ultras, right, and this is giving you an opportunity to take more bases, get your creep spread really where you want it, and then go into the Broodlords later. I feel like with these armies in this particular game, it would be good.
Right now?
We don't know.
What,
we'll
do
have
you
to
think
continue
he's going to die going to Broodlords?
Do you think he's going to die?
I know he's not going to die because the game goes for 19 minutes.
What map is this? I mean, what map number? Is this game 4?
Do we? I can't tell because we took.
I can't remember who wins this game. Actually, I think Solar
does
wins this game. Yeah.
Okay,
anyways,
so my point is, I understand where you're going with this, but we're probably not going to die anyways, right? So adding this Ultra step, waiting for Chitinous, because Chitinous is actually necessary.
Yes, Chitinous is necessary.
So we have to wait for Chitinous. We have to add on the Ultras. At that point, we probably already have Broodlords. Especially because our Spire's already started. Like, start Ultra Cavern right now. Start Carapace for it.
The thing is,
Chitinous. Build the Ultras.
Yeah.
They pop. At this point, how far in are we on Broodlords? We're like 75% of the way there, right?
Okay, but I don't feel like it's only about that. What I don't like about the Broodlords is you don't have the right army for it.
Yeah, but
right? You have 4
defensively
queens,
you do, though.
and you have Lings and Banes and Mutas.
So
everything
Vikings?
you have is so soft.
What is he going to have?
Well, he could. If
he has 20 Vikings now.
Well, no, you're not going to have 20 Vikings right now.
Well, that's the point. So you're going to get Broodlords out before the real counter for Broodlords is here. And then by the time they have the real counter for Broodlords, you're going to have the support you need as well.
No. Okay, so if right at this exact instant when this started, we had a scan go down right here, and he sees the Greater Spire, let's just say.
Sure.
He's map hacking.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Okay, he does that. He starts pumping out Vikings right
I'm just saying,
now.
No, I feel
Pumps them out. How many do we have?
First off, I think what you would do is get into pushing a little bit more, right? Don't walk on creep or anything. But you're playing against just Ling Bane.
Well, Ling Bane is still scary, though.
Yeah, no, it's scary. But if you're not going on creep and stuff, like you can put pressure on. Anyways, let's keep going. We still have another game after this long one too.
I think we have 2 more actually.
No, this is game 4, I think.
I don't know.
Pretty sure we're on game 4.
I think we're on game 3. You know what? Let's just disagree with everything now.
Yeah.
We're in a disagreement.
Damn.
Everyone says we agree too much. They do say that. Would you disagree with me there too?
Yeah, I disagree with you there as well. I'm just going to be TLO right now.
Oh! You see that?
Yeah, I did.
If those mutas had carapace, they would not have died.
Yes, the both of them would have died, but that red one right there, that orange one, would have a little bit more health.
That's true. Interesting. Yeah, so Broodlords, pretty normal, I think. I don't think we ever go ultras in this position. Just because it's, well, first off, it's not in the meta right now to do
yes,
it.
it is not in the meta right now. That is.
So it's just like
that I
people
cannot
people are more used to going into Broodlords right now. So it would be really weird to do it. But, you know, maybe it's viable. But is it better than, you think it's better than going straight to Broodlords?
Okay, you see this army moving out right now?
Yeah.
Let's see how this does. I'm actually interested in this fight. I didn't watch this entire
You
game.
see that?
What?
What was in production? Was it a bunch of lings?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a bunch
He
of
canceled
lings.
something. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
They're all 50
yeah,
minerals.
yeah, it's all 50.
That's funny. He canceled a bunch of lings because he didn't have a supply for his Broodlords. Okay. Oh, he didn't have minerals? No, wait. He still has supply. He doesn't have enough gas.
Huh.
Okay,
I
so
wonder what it was then. Maybe it was Corruptors?
okay. He's already bought enough time for his Broodlords to be out. I wonder if he pushes immediately once he gets Broodlords.
No,
No.
this isn't a pushing unit.
Yeah.
It's, like, he has to play defensively no matter what right now with this.
How many starports? 2, 3.
3, yeah.
Fusion core.
Okay, here comes the attack.
He scans Broodlords. I bet he backs up.
Mm.
He should.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have enough anti-air right now.
It's not even close. I'm actually a little scared. If the Lings got on top of this, like, is this army even good enough to fight just Lings? Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a wonky looking
It's
army
almost
right
not good because like, these.
there. He's got a
unsieged
ton of units
tanks-
elsewhere on the map. Like, he's actually got a massive army, it's just not together.
Yeah, like I almost want to jump on this if I'm Solar. Yeah, I think I would with this Bio army or this Lingbane army. Oh, is he gonna? This army
I
just.
feel like Cure might be missing an opportunity here.
This feels like
Yeah.
$1 million if you're Solar and this happens ever, because you know you have, unless the Broodlords are all in the open. But
Well, he scanned the broods and he sees that there's nothing under it. But what is this army doing here?
This
And
is like-
what is this army doing down here?
this is like this is the Broodlord killing army, and this is the like everything that kills ground army over there,
Yeah.
which feels weird.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like-
I don't.
He's
In
got a
this
bunch of
situation,
marauders
like,
and tanks.
what I wanted to see to prove you wrong was see this stuff, all this together.
Yeah.
Now, if all this together was pushing, like, let's see, here, this army, I'm not scared of.
I think he could still fuck him up. That's what I think.
I mean, Broodlords are good,
Broodlords are good.
but he's got 3/3. He's got quite a few Thors. He's got quite a few siege tanks to target down Banes. As soon as the Banes are erased, your Marines kind of kill everything else.
Kinda, yeah. But there's still a
Right?
ton of.
Whereas I look at this army, and let's say that Kira had this army, because the thing is,
I think
he's
Ultras get fucked just
mispositioning.
as hard though.
Oh no!
Yeah.
He fucking
How many
eats,
Ultras?
He
How many
eats
ultras?
this army
How
with
many
ultras?
ultras do you need? Like
Dude,
7?
you need like 1 ultra and 4
One?
queens.
Oh
Jesus.
God. The
All
best
right,
thing is, at least I know in the Reddit thread, all the Zerg players are gonna agree with me.
Yeah, that's great.
I got the Zerg
No,
players.
you
at least.
guys do have a hive mind. We already know that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the fucking storyline.
I'm not gonna see a single Zerg player be like, "Well, Norgut's just wrong. He's never built an Ultra in his life. He doesn't know." Like, you guys are all on my side already.
That's fine. That's fine. I can't wait until ultras rotate back in.
Never.
Because Kier starts bringing his army together.
You're right.
And then suddenly you're
you know what?
Bane
If that
into-
ever happens, just DM me or message me, okay?
Well, it'll eventually happen. I mean,
Yeah.
this is StarCraft. Everything rotates.
Broodlords rotate out into Ultras. That'll be the day.
Oh, Jesus, this is dirty.
Yeah, this hurts. There's actually no way to get this army out.
Yeah, he picked up like a couple units to get out. It's tanks?
it's 2
Oh, he
tanks.
saved his tanks. That's fine. Is that what you saved there?
I almost like the Thor safe,
yeah.
because I think the Thor is actually better
They're
against all of
worth
it.
more right now, I would say.
Much more. 2 tanks does what?
They got like 4 tanks out. I think 1 died, but whatever.
Did he get 4 tanks out?
Yeah, you had 2 medevacs.
Okay, I'd take 4 tanks over what? One Thor?
2 Thors.
Okay.
I would take 2 Thors.
Yeah, maybe.
If you would take 2 tanks over 1 Thor, you would take 2 Thors over.
over
or
4 tanks?
whatever.
I get
You know what I
I
mean.
get what you're saying, yeah.
Oh my god.
Your brain just jumbled from all the Ultra talk.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? You're right. I would have much rather Ultras here. Look at these fucking useless Broodlords floating around doing nothing.
I don't know if you're joking or not, but if he had ultras, he would have killed this in like a millisecond.
Yeah, he's almost killing it without them, though. Oh, no, please, stop. I guess.
Watching this Thor against those mutas is so funny.
Yeah. If there weren't any lings there, I think it would have been a close fight.
Yeah, some things definitely went poorly here for Kier. His army was all split up in a situation where I definitely think it should have all been together.
I feel like I've watched Kier in this position like 100 times. You know, or like the Broodlords are coming across the map and he just got nothing.
Yeah. Well, he likes to be out on the map, almost to a fault.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not good. Where are the mutas? I heard them dying. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, they're just like with the corruptors. They're tanking.
The mutas are tanking for the corruptors.
If only they had an armor.
There's no infestors.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about this already, where, yeah, he's only in Ling Bane and he's going right into Broods with nothing. So, but
Doing
see,
fine.
I mean, he's doing all right, but so much of this is hinged on Kier kind of throwing away 2 armies.
Listen, this army is a million times better against Ultras, though. This is really scary against Ultras.
Well, he does have a lot of Marauders in that particular army that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and I don't even know why, because we haven't shown any Ultras or anything. And this army is pretty strong against it.
I guess it's his anti-Bane force or something. Or maybe he's sitting there, he's like...
Or maybe he's like...
Maybe he's Galaxy Brain, and he's like, he knows that there should be Ultras over here, and he's like, there's no Ultras? I should be able to win this easily.
Okay. And then we figured out why he doesn't win any tournaments.
But he will when the Ultra meta's back.
That's true. Yeah. He's just like trying to not die now.
Yeah, yeah. Some things definitely have gone wrong.
Oh, actually don't mind this fight that badly. Okay.
Good pull on the Parasitic Bomb Viking.
This feels like a... Okay. This was almost so good for Kier, but not quite.
Well, there's nothing actually underneath the Broodlords, like I've been saying.
I think ghosts were a little slow, too. I think these ghosts could have been out quicker.
Yeah. This definitely looks like it. I feel like Kier could have done much better this game, especially based on some of the games that we've already watched today.
Wait, then I'm really impressed that Kier won the series, too, from this position.
Well, you won't be when you see the next game.
Okay, nice. Well, now I'm really excited. It's Solar builds Ultras or something.
No, it's definitely not that.
Huh. I do have to admit, though, it feels really, really hard to make fights work as Terran when you don't have the right army against the Broodlords. It just feels like you're playing a brick wall. Look at that. It's just so scary. Like, what could you possibly have to deal with this?
Lots of Vikings. Truly lots.
Look at how many Banelings it is.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
You got him. You got him, Kier. All right.
Somewhat interesting game.
I don't think that Ultras are interesting. The interesting talk.
I'm actually, I mean, I don't think that you should go Ultras every game, but I'm looking at that game, and I definitely see that if Kier had played that a bit better, that would have been a much closer, much scarier game, because you don't have anything underneath your Broods. That's like...
Sure.
What do I even say about it? It's like if you're doing a siege tank push and you only bring SCVs, you only have SCVs, that's not enough to buffer for the siege tanks.
Right.
Charge lots are going to get on you. They're going to get on you, no regret.
How many games have you seen as of late that have gone into Ultras?
Oh, none.
Like, how long has it been?
It's been a bit. That doesn't mean it's right.
No, I'm just curious.
It doesn't mean
I'm
it's
just
right.
curious.
Yeah.
It's been a bit. It's been like 2 years or 1 year, like whatever it's been.
Dude, people get caught up in this. And the thing is, I'll call everyone out a couple years from now. Just like when they did from plus 10 damage Blue Flame to plus 5. I called Juan out on that the other day. I'm like, hey, remember when that happened? And you're like, it's terrible. Mech will never be used again. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Because now one upgrade on the tech lab only gives +5 damage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm really interested how this is a 7-minute game.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
with
this
open
game's not the greatest game.
How do you kill a 7K Zerg 7 minutes playing CC, rack CC?
Yeah, watch.
I feel like I'm about to watch an infomercial, like how to beat the best Zerg player in less than 7 minutes.
It's actually an infomercial from Solar about
is
how
it?
to lose.
Oh, okay.
How not to engage.
I think one of my biggest issues macroing TVZ is I like to tech too soon. So I don't get enough drones up early on to really utilize my third base. It feels like this is really slowly saturated for me. Because I like to get a quicker layer. I don't know.
What are you doing with your quicker layer though?
I usually try and get Bane speed.
Yeah, I mean Bane speed is
+1.
quite nice. I feel like if you
like it's
power a little bit more, you're going to be able to have enough lings that Bane speed isn't as important, but
perhaps, yeah. So the thing is, I like to do some timings, which is really dumb. I like to try and hit some like 1-1 Bane timings.
Zerg's not the right race for you, I think.
I know. I've thought about it a lot.
Okay, we are getting right towards the end now.
Damn. Oh, it's like another one of these.
Okay,
that
I
a
want you to
tank?
guess exactly what happens. Pause it. Tell me how this game ends. Okay, so look, the game is ending in 1 minute and 23 seconds, and it's...
I would just guess that our Kier just like comes up here. There's no Banes, and then you siege it up on this third base, and then probably some kind of weird Bane engagement
Show me the
happens.
exact position.
The tank here?
No. I know you could do this better.
What?
Ready? I'm going to
Okay,
set
up
your
here, up
screen.
here. Tank here.
Sure.
Tank here, Marines here, and yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's go. A little bit anticlimactic for actually quite a nice series, but...
Yeah, these... Well, the Bane morph seems okay, I guess. The problem is you're giving him the ability to just walk over here now. And this base is dead. Oh, he does the counterattack. This is quite nice.
I love the counterattack.
Doesn't get anything, though. 2 SCVs is not enough.
It was a good try, though. He gives himself the opportunity for some real damage.
Yeah, especially considering the last counterattack, how well it went. Oh my god. He's just going for it. This is crazy. Oh, what the hell? Again? What?
Are you kidding me on this? You see what I see?
I could not have predicted that. That's like the worst possible fight ever.
I know.
How did you think I was going to predict that? Solar
Well,
was
if
gonna
you
lose
were
every
going
single
to,
Bane,
if you were going to win here,
I guess.
at that time, it had to be behind those geysers. It was the only way.
Yeah. Now the rest of the army comes here and you're just dead. Yeah. Ooh, this feels bad. Yeah.
That one wasn't.
That was really
that one wasn't very
anticlimactic.
good. Yeah.
Well, the other games were interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, some of the discussions were interesting.
Oh no, I actually quite like the Ultralisk discussion because just because no one does it doesn't mean that it's not. There's not some sort of value there. Like the thing is that game. Like he just rolled him with the Broodlords, but I don't think it had to look like that at all.
It's true.
I think that game, Solar played well. He did very well with his mutas. I think defending that hatchery when it got so low, like brilliant moves.
Right.
But I think that Cure played more poorly after that, having his army split, just losing giant chunks to nothing. It's just like it seemed like he was unaware of the tech transition and everything. So.
It feels like Cure is always a little slow to transition. Like he wants to do these bio kind of trades for a really long period of time, and then when the Broodlords show up, he's just not quite fully transitioned. Like he's almost there. Like the starports are there, but there's no add-ons. The fleet, not the fleet, the fusion core's done, but it's not really doing anything with it, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's
he
constantly
didn't really
like
do anything
this.
with that. Yeah, that is true. Cure seems like he's
really close.
Yeah, I keep saying this about him too, where it seems he's so close to being one of the very best Terrans in the world. So close. He's not quite there, but he's like, it's going to happen eventually.
It
like
might.
a little bit more is going to click, and that's going to be it.
How old is Cure? I feel like that's an important question.
Actually.
Because that shows how he may or may not be able to adapt. I feel like if he's in the before 23, he's probably really likely to do well. But if you're past 23 and you're still not getting your transitions on time and all this stuff, it's hard for me to say that you'd be one of the best. What do you think? Do you think you disagree with that point?
Well, we're seeing more and more players come back from military and stuff and do well.
Well, that's almost better because you're taking such a huge gap that you have to change, right? But if you're never left and you just keep playing and playing and playing and playing and playing,
But if he's on the brink for this long, like,
then he's doing something wrong.
yeah,
That's
he
the
is doing
point.
things wrong.
And he's
but
not
he's
fixing
doing a
them.
lot of things right too.
That's true.
He's a player similar, like not as exciting as Time, but kind of similar, where you look at it and you're like, wow, you're really good, but there's some things that you really can fix. With Time, I would say there's even more of that he really can fix, and his strengths are even wider.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I believe in Cure.
Yeah, I believe in him too.
Yeah.
I think actually it's more mentality for him too because he does so well online. Like it's just
it might
he
be
just like falters on offline sometimes.
Yeah, that happens.
Alrighty. So
yeah.
question?
We do have one question here on the Discord.
By the way, guys, if you want to ask us questions after the show or support us in any way, we have a Patreon. We're going to revamp it a bit very soon.
Yes, we meant to do it this past week. We're going to do it this week.
Yes. We will change it up a bit, offer some more rewards and stuff like that for supporting us, but definitely feel free to do that. And you can join our Discord for discussions on StarCraft and whatever you want to do. We talk about the games when they're live. We talk about just general things. I like to be a little more active than I am right now, but I've been busy. But I will be more active soon, I promise.
Yes. So check out patreon.com/indepthsc2. So, let's ask this question. Sanquin Lily asks, which server do you consider to be the most accessible for players from other servers considering picking meta, etc.? And which server do you consider to be the best for learning strats and improving in general? I think improving in general, I feel like the Korean server.
Yeah.
I think that players on Europe, it's almost too macro focused or something, especially as you get up high.
Sure.
I think that there's actually like there's a reason they're very good late game and stuff, but like you don't get the same type of. Well, it's not NA for sure. But
NA is not. Yeah, NA is
Korea is more about really strong execution with aggression.
I think Korea, the quality of high level players is different too. Like there's really high level players with many wide variety of skills and many different races, you know, like their Zerg players are so different and their Protoss players are so different, their Terran players are so different, and they're all so scary good that if you practice here and you get good at all of them, you're just going to be insane. Whereas like the Zerg players like from Europe, a lot of them are like very much similar, like a lot of them, and how they think they should play the matchup and how they think they should win. They're almost like a little bit of a hive mind. Like they communicate a bit more and they watch each other a bit more and they do that. Whereas Korea is more like they develop their own things in bubbles and they bring them out on ladder.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good way to.
So in general, practicing in Korea is better for like general strategies and general like things.
I think for general strength,
but perhaps
if
you want like more of like that specific thing where you're like, I want to specifically get better at macro ZvP or whatever. Like I want to play against late game Zergs. Then Korea is not the best place. Europe is way better. Because Europe will get there much more often than Zerg players in Korea. Zerg players in Korea like to end it a lot earlier.
Yeah, very, very true. So it's kind of a stylistic difference. As far as ping goes, it just has to do with where you live.
You are, yeah.
NA is generally the most accessible server from around the world.
Yeah.
If you want to play in Korea, like you either got to be in Korea or NA, basically, especially West Coast NA. And if you want to play in Europe, you got to be in NA or
East
Europe.
Coast NA, yeah.
Yeah, if you're in Korea
I think it's
Europe,
actually
you can't
the
play on
routing
each
works.
other.
For whatever reason, Europe and Korea should not route so poorly.
But they do.
Yeah, like they should route pretty, well. Definitely should not have to go to NA West to play each other, or NA Central for the best ping.
It feels unplayable though to log on Europe.
No, it is, but like the routing,
except for one,
the routing is just weird.
Yeah.
Also, like Singapore and all these other servers are just weird, where they have like way too much ping for they should. You're like, Australia's right there. Why do I have to go to NA West and then to Australia?
Yeah, it is weird.
Anyways.
Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
It's been a fun episode. I've enjoyed this quite a bit.
We'll be back next week, as we always are, with a new episode.
That's right. We've been talking about exciting things we have planned. We still haven't planned. They're still going to happen.
Yeah, I have another plan I have to talk about after this.
Ooh, all right.
When we turn off the stream.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching. We will see you next time.
Thank you.